The following is a presentation of the Houston Texans.
I'm calling you out. Let's go. Let's settle this.
And we are ready to rock in Houston.
Let's settle this once and for all.
Down on the way. Day has him down to the backfield grab.
Let's finish it.
Throws a deep downfield for Fuller. And Fuller's got it. Hopkins with a big game. Rock and roll. Touchdown. Texans. They do it.
Let's settle this once and for all.
The doors are open at NRG Stadium, and football is in the air. And for the first time in 2018, the Texans take the field at home, continuing to prepare for a season filled with promise. And welcome to Houston Texans preseason football presented by Mattress Firm. When the Texans win, you win at Mattress Firm. Tonight from NRG Stadium, it's the second NFL preseason matchup for your Houston Texans against the San Francisco 49ers. And good evening from NRG Stadium. I'm Kevin Kugler. You know, the preseason for the Houston Texans, like most other teams in the National Football League, it's all about answering questions, finding out what you have and what you need before the season gets started. One area in which Houston knows what they have is the quarterback position. They know they've got a starter in Deshaun Watson who can impact this league for years to come. How do they know this? Well, just look at the offense last year with and without Deshaun Watson. For Deshaun Watson, when he was in the offense and when he was running the show, this Houston team was the top scoring offense in the league. Without Deshaun Watson, the lowest scoring offense in the league. The rushing attack, very similar difference between with and without. Almost 146 yards per game with him, towards the bottom of the league without Deshaun Watson. Working with me tonight, as always, my partner Spencer Tillman. And Spencer, we may see a little bit more from number 4 tonight. Bill O'Brien telling us yesterday we might get a few more snaps for the starting quarterback tonight. But like most early preseason games for Coach O'Brien, this is all about seeing that backup quarterback.
Kevin, I think Coach O'Brien is convinced absolutely that he needs to have contrasting styles at quarterback. He needs to be able to win with both styles. He's got that. And Brandon Whedon, he's a classic in-the-pocket quarterback. He's got a big arm. Last week he showed you against Kansas City how efficient he can be. 81% completion percentage, 143 quarterback rating. That's second best among the 60 or so that have started in these 2 weeks of the preseason. He's a big gun. And then Joe Webb is the outpitch. For me, he's not Deshaun Watson, but at 31 years of age, he's still capable of big play down the field. He led the team in rushing last week. 4 carries, 42 yards. I think that's your contrast right there.
And it's going to be an interesting contrast to watch tonight. It's something we'll certainly be keeping an eye on. A lot of position battles to watch as we wind our way through the preseason as well. When we return, we'll introduce Drew Doherty, bring him into the broadcast, and get you started with Game 2 of the preseason. The Texans and the San Francisco 49ers will continue from Houston after these network messages.
This broadcast is brought to you by Reliant, an NRG company. By Mattress Firm. When the Texans win, you win at Mattress Firm. By your local Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. And by First Community Credit Union, the official credit union of the Houston Texans.
NRG Stadium in Houston, and tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Xfinity. Kevin Kugler alongside Spencer Tillman. The third member of our crew is Drew Doherty. And Drew, a lot of talk this past week about the rookie Duke Ejiofor.
Yeah, and that was quite a contrast because if you think about it, you go play your football at Wake Forest, you get drafted in the 6th round, and then you miss May and June, OTAs and minicamp because of an injury. You're not going to get a lot of buzz, but last week, the A-Leaf Taylor product came in and led the team with 3 quarterback hits. He got after the quarterback and kind of made things uncomfortable for Pat Mahomes and the quarterbacks behind him on the Chiefs. This is a guy who center Nick Martin here for the Houston Texans has said all through camp, the guys look comfortable in pads. He has made and caused problems for blockers on the offensive side of the ball. This is a guy who did all that and generated a pass rush without the likes of Watt and Clowney and Merciless around him to draw attention away. Texans might have found something there in the 6th round. Keep your eyes on number 53, Duke Ejiofor.
And as if on cue, he runs right out on special teams, and special teams a big area for head coach Bill O'Brien. As he evaluates players in a couple of weeks, he'll have to make some decisions. Their play on special teams is going to factor in very large for that head coach.
It's going to be huge, and particularly, partner, because of some of the rule changes, you're probably going to be seeing more linebacker-type players making this squad than would otherwise. Again, the 5x5 setup they'll have on the kickoff doesn't really require the athleticism to be able to have to maneuver. So you can get those big bodies out there and possibly make this team as a result.
Kyle Shanahan, former Texans offensive coordinator, back on the sidelines here in Houston, this time as the head man of the 49ers. And what a job he did at the end of that season. They got Jimmy Garoppolo last year, won 6 of their final 7 games, including the last 5 they played. And this 49er team's a team a lot of people have ticketed for an even better season in 2018.
He was no mystery when he came in this league. Obviously, his lineage is what it is. 27 years of age. At one point, he was the youngest coach in the NFL.
Nick Rose's kickoff taken at the goal line and looking for a little running room and driven down by Duke Ejiofor at the 22-yard line. Nowhere to go once he caught up with Richie James Jr., the rookie from Middle Tennessee State, dropped by the rookie from Wake Forest.
I think Tremaine Pope was involved in that as well. You can see Ejiofor squeezing, doing exactly what he's supposed to do, and then finishing off the job on the outside. A lot of combination. That's one of those linebacker types that we talked about. Ejiofor, Johnny on the spot, picking up where he left off last week. Not from scrimmage this time, but on special teams.
Jimmy Garoppolo under center on first down. And play action. Ejiofor chasing. He finds Selleck, his tight end. And Selleck bangs his way out to the 30-yard line. And a good look at the quarterback and really the future for San Francisco. Jimmy Garoppolo, they acquired him from the Patriots in a trade. 5-0 record as a starter last year with the 49ers. He came in, threw for 1,560 yards. And he's won 7 straight starts between the Patriots and Niners to begin his NFL career.
Just one of 5 quarterbacks in the history of the league to be able to achieve that feat. He's a special quarterback.
On second down, a little end around, trying to get to the edge and nowhere to go. It's Ejiofor again on the edge, dropping Dante Pettis.
They leave Taylor in the house and their hopping partner. The athleticism for Ejiofor to make it play action, not fooled by it. It stays at home, sheds and releases, and then shows you some of that closing speed on the edge to make an unbelievable behind the line of scrimmage play. Let me tell you something, that's exciting to watch right there. This guy is making plays. The first 2 plays of this game on defense have been made by the A-Leaf Taylor star.
Opening eyes already in week 2 after a strong performance last week in Kansas City. Third down for the Niners. Bringing a little late pressure. Garoppolo looking down the sidelines for Goodwin, who's got it, and a first down and plenty more for San Francisco. Garoppolo dropping it to Marquise Goodwin. 36 yards later, a first down.
And the unfortunate thing, I think that's Kevin Johnson on the coverage there. He has had problems since last year, lost a little bit of his confidence to end the season, bulked up a little bit, came in with a lot of positiveness, but he falls on that shoulder. And I'm telling you, that does not look good right now. Again, it looked like it flexed it the opposite direction. Your body's not designed to go that way. We can't make any assumptions about what happened, but that was not a good-looking fall there.
Goodness. Kevin Johnson down. Texans training staff tending to the 4th-year man from Wake Forest. The scoreboard this quarter brought to you by Hyundai. No score, 13:29 remaining in this first quarter, and the silence that has fallen over NRG Stadium as a result of this play and this injury to Kevin Johnson.
You know, the 4th-year player really needs to have a successful camp in subsequent year. Again, unfortunately, at no point in time did he ever really define where the ball was. He did not have classic help over the top read. The safety was making his way over, but that was straight man coverage. He had to defend on his own. And you know, these guys have got to be able to protect themselves when they fall too, and that's very much a part of this game. Unfortunate to see that. He had bulked up and put on about additional 15 pounds and was looking forward to a better outcome this year.
He battled an MCL injury and a concussion in 2017. This is great to see.
Wow, yeah, this is awesome.
Because they were bringing out the board and the stretcher for Kevin Johnson. And Kevin Johnson is now up and making his way to the sidelines. This is fantastic to see. And that's the best possible outcome from that moment, as Kevin Johnson will walk to the locker room.
Yeah. He didn't even break his fall, so this is huge right here, because if it's dislocated or something like that, you're not even seeing him move that arm, but he is moving it now. He looks like he's able. That's a sigh of relief right there for Bill O'Brien.
Drew, of course, will have more information about the status of Kevin Johnson, the health of Kevin Johnson, as soon as we know. We'll pass it along to you. Meanwhile, from the 35, a first down for the San Francisco 49ers with Selleck in motion. And on first down, the carry for Jeremy McNichols, and not much running room for McNichols. There's Christian Covington along with Dylan Cole in there to help make the stop.
And partner, really what makes that play work in terms of a defensive standpoint, again, was that guy, Duke Ejiofor, off of the edge, just really pushing it upfield so that the ball can go nowhere back but upside and inside the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 9 at the 34. Veteran Pierre Garçon in the slot to the top of your screen. McNichols motioning out of the backfield.
Everybody's manned up, a single safety look.
Garoppolo, quick toss looking for Garçon, and the pass incomplete. Cole on the coverage, and now third down. And our starting lineups tonight are brought to you by Houston Methodist, and we saw Christian Covington a moment ago. DJ Reader, J.J. Watt says he's the best nose tackle in the National Football League. The linebackers, well, we have seen some plays. Zach Cunningham, very strong moments last week. Brennan Scarlett's had a very good camp. And then that secondary, Jonathan Joseph, Aaron Colvin, Kareem Jackson, Justin Reed. Of course, Kevin Johnson was out there and has headed to the locker room. Right now, Johnson Botamosi out there at corner on 3rd and 9 at the 34. Garoppolo, the quick toss. Goodwin with the catch, and an immediate tackle made by D. Virgin just short of the first down.
D. Virgin had an excellent week last week against Kansas City, and again, that's going to be a close call. But it looks like D. Virgin playing it, understanding where the sticks are. He knows he's in man. He squats on it and drives on the ball and puts his shoulder head up, which is where he's supposed to tackle, and then drives him back. That's a great effort, even though it wasn't clear, but he got a good effort in.
Well, these two teams worked on these situations in practice, the joint practices this week. Another 4th down opportunity here. 4th and 1 for San Francisco. Garoppolo under some pressure, and all alone is Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback down the sidelines, banging his way to the end zone and stopped just short. Justin Reed saving the touchdown after the gain all the way down to the 2.
First to goal at 2-yard line.
Sometimes you never can bail on your assignment. The Texans looks like they had this pretty well executed in terms of coverage, but Garoppolo keeps this play alive, and I think it may have been Zach Cunningham on that left side that gave up his fullback. Got more concerned about the play of the quarterback, and that's the value of Garoppolo. Able to extend plays, create opportunities.
On 1st down and goal, we've got a stoppage and a flag. And it's going to be 1st and goal from the 7.
False start on the 74. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's the 5-time Pro Bowler Joe Staley who flinched early.
That's rare. You're not going to see Joe. He's one of the stalwarts, man. A couple of 7 Pro Bowls all total in terms of those that he was elected to and actually played in. Here's the play again. Nice little movement by Staley. Just finished just a little bit. They'll catch you on that now.
He's now in the process not only of playing his 12th year, but mentoring Mike McGlinchey, the rookie from Notre Dame, who's on the right side. Figures to be left tackle someday. Garoppolo, quick toss, Juszczyk with the catch, and Juszczyk down back near the original line of scrimmage at the 2. Johnson Botamosi first to contact him. Ben Heaney over to help finish it off.
Botamosi doing a fantastic job of coming up and driving on this play, giving up nearly 30 pounds. You see number 20 squat on this, and then plays with leverage. His pad level lower than the fullbacks. That's textbook tackling right there by Botamosi.
2nd and goal at the 2. Jeremy McNichols, the running back. They lost both Matt Breida and Jerick McKinnon for the rest of the preseason with injuries. McNichols slips as he makes his cut, trying to cut away from Kareem Jackson, and it's 3rd down.
Kareem Jackson showing you that nose for the ball. He played a lot of nickel, but you know, watch number 25 here. He's going to be able to sense where this ball is coming. Nice run fit. Played it almost like a linebacker. That's one of his strong suits. That's the reason why they moved him from his corner position back to safety, because his affinity for making open field tackles. They played him more like a linebacker there. That's an excellent play by the 9-year veteran out of Alabama.
Texans defense ended the game in Kansas City with a goal line stand, trying to start this game with a goal line stand. 10th play of the drive, 3rd and goal from the 2. Garoppolo from the empty backfield. Pressure comes late, and it's caught for the touchdown in the back of the end zone by Trent Taylor.
Aaron Colvin was in defense back there in the back, and everybody was pretty much manned up the way they were supposed to be. But again, an on-target throw by Garoppolo. Again, pay it off and finish it. Colvin just on the short end. One of the new additions on the back end for the Texans. got beat there, but ultimately Taylor just ran an excellent route to throw by the quarterback on target.
And Garoppolo targeted Taylor, as did Niner quarterbacks last year, with great frequency on third down. He had 43 catches last year. 27 of the 43 were on third down. This one on 3rd and goal puts the Niners on the board. Robbie Gould, the veteran kicker, on for the extra point, and the Niners draw first blood here in Houston. 7-0 start for San Francisco.
I think it breaks up the monotony. You know, you're going against the same guy every day, day in and day out, and all of a sudden here comes a new guy. A new team, a new unit with different skill sets, different X's and O's, and it breaks up the monotony of training camp. I think that's important. It allows our scouting staff to look at another team, to begin to scout, you know, just the process of scouting another team. It allows our fans to come in here and see us compete against another team on the practice field, which is, I think, a pretty neat experience for the fans to be up close like that. So. And you've got a good team in San Francisco with a great head coach and a great quarterback, and Kyle and Jimmy. So it'll be a good experience.
And this has really, Spencer, been what we've seen from NFL teams over the last few years of the preseason. The joint practices, you get the chance to work on situations, you get the chance to kind of dictate what you want to see against somebody that isn't your own team. Bill O'Brien's a huge proponent of it. They've done it the last several years.
Defensive players in particularly love it because, number one, if they've got pass moves that work against a particular team or a particular teammate, seeing somebody else really gives them a chance to break away from those tendencies and try something new.
7-0 Niners after the 10-play, 78-yard touchdown drive. Here's Sammy Coates looking for a crease, and Coates upended at the 22-yard line by Jaquaski Tart. And the Houston Texans will go to work on offense for the first time tonight. And our first look, maybe our only look, at Deshaun Watson. Bill O'Brien told us yesterday that we'd see number 4 maybe a little bit more than we saw at Kansas City, but I don't think a little bit more means the whole first half. I think we'll see him maybe 1 or 2 series at the most.
Well, just unable to convert on the third down scenario, shorten that opportunity. Hopefully they can move the ball down effectively. Coming out with a trips look here with the tight end, maybe trying to move him out of the pocket or stretch it on the run this way.
On first down, Lamar Miller is trying to find a little running room up the middle. Takes it just shy of the 25-yard line. Our starting lineups brought to you by Houston Methodist. That starting offensive line that you see there had 19 snaps last week against Kansas City. We'll see how many more they get tonight, if any more. Braxton Miller, Bruce Ellington in a good battle to make this roster as one of the wide receivers. On second down, there's Ellington with a catch, breaks a tackle, and Ellington off to the races. Turning on the speed, and Ellington finally wrestled down inside the Niner 40 at the 38-yard line. 38-yard pitch and catch from Deshaun Watson to Bruce Ellington.
And Jaquaski Tart was the guy that made the big play earlier. He gets beat this time, and then Bruce Ellington, sure-handed, gets that ball seated in the proper hand away from the defender, just runs away from him.
And a little tempo now for the Texans, something Bill O'Brien wanted to see from this offense this week, Spencer. They got up to the line, got the play called at the 34-yard line, and here they go once more.
Pace and tempo, uses a tactical advantage. You can see number 4's eyes came out, hit him on the slant route really quickly. And again, trying to put the 49ers at a disadvantage here tactically, not able to get lined up because of the pace. 4 by, empty backfield, going downfield with a pass here.
Second down and 5 from the Niner 34. 4-man pressure from the Niners. Watson throws, had a man open, juggled it incomplete. Braxton Miller couldn't pull it in. Watson had just enough of a crease to get that ball in there. Miller couldn't pull it in with the contact.
Well, that was a dart, too. And I'm going to tell you, we knew what it was going to be, a pass. Braxton Miller with off coverage here. The former quarterback at Ohio State found the soft spot in the zone, but just couldn't finish it off. He's got to catch those plays because even though Kiki Kuti is injured right now with the hamstring, he's going to have pressure on him big time in that slot position.
Akello Witherspoon, the second-year man out of Colorado, providing the contact to jar that one loose. Third down and 5 at the 34.
Nice little switch combination route down here. Like the
Watson,
there you go.
Ellington again, and Ellington down to the 28-yard line. That's a first down for the Texans as Bruce Ellington comes up big again.
Really cool to see those plays coming. Again, you can see the what we call a cluster or a teacup. If you got off coverage, that last or the final receiver to release is going to be wide open typically.
John Perry, the wide receiver coach for the Texans, Spencer, talking about the camp that Ellington's had. He had a great camp. He really let loose. It's his first full camp, full offseason really, since 2016. And Watson to the air. Ellington can't pull it in, falling backwards at the 20-yard line. This slot receiver position is going to be a very interesting spot for the Houston Texans. You've got three guys in that slot. Kiki QT, who's been battling the injury, but he impressed before the injury. Braxton Miller and Bruce Ellington trying to make this roster in that spot. And it's really going to come down to, Spencer, who makes plays and how many wide receivers Bill O'Brien and company decide to keep.
Well, QT has been wowing them since 8 OTAs, but again, you got to be in the lineup to make this team.
Watson off play action.
Nice.
Griffin open. The tight end's got it. First and goal, Texans. The veteran Ryan Griffin with the grab.
Part of this is exactly what we talked about, the three things that you need to have. Patience. They're going pace and tempo to try to get this off, but watch the switch route. Comes off of it. The safety just got beat on that. Turned around. Griffin does a nice job of plucking that out of the air.
First down and goal, Texans. Right back to that line again. Ellington and Miller, the wide receivers, to the bottom of the screen. Lamar Miller with the carry, trying to get to the outside, nowhere to go. Well defended by the 49ers. Penetration from Brock Coyle to start off the problems for Lamar Miller.
Yeah, Witherspoon was out there on the edge, too, to kind of turn that back in, but Miller did about all he could do to the short side of the field, just outnumbered on that play. But then the Texans trying to use pace and tempo as a tactical advantage, just getting lined up, having enough time to audible to a play that's going to give them the best success. Nearing the green zone area, inside the 5 is the green zone, 20 in is the red zone.
And on second and goal.
Nice.
Towards the goal line, and is he in? No, just short. Griffin just short, and it'll be third and goal.
The beautiful thing about that play, it was thrown exactly
running on the field, a completed pass short of the goal line, third down.
Where it needed to be. And as the late Milo Hamilton would say, low and away a ball. But it was caught, a nice strike right there on the line.
This trip to the red zone brought to you by Texas Children's Hospital, and they are inches away from a touchdown, and Bill O'Brien's going to take a timeout.
This is the first charge timeout. Houston, 30-second timeout.
So the Texans use a 30-second timeout on third and goal from the half-yard line.
Well, for the most part, as Bill O'Brien talks to his signal caller there, and it's really been an efficient, very predictable, vanilla for the most part. Not a lot of exotic formations. The 1-4 wide netted a big play downfield. Saw that one coming. Braxton Miller needed to be able to hang on to those shots and opportunities. But this has been vanilla. It's been encouraging because they haven't needed to pull anything out of the basket that they would in the regular season.
The one thing they've done is going to make Bill O'Brien very happy, and that's tempo. That was the one thing he stressed with us when we were conversing with him yesterday about this game. He said, we've got to get the tempo of this offense up. They watched the first half of the Patriots game from Thursday night with the team, and that was kind of the pace they were looking for from this offense.
Let's see if they can win up top here.
Watson on third down, looking for Ellington, and the pass knocked away. Coyle out there on the coverage, a lot of traffic, and it's fourth and goal.
Yeah, that's a difficult look to try to win on inside. A lot of bodies around the line of scrimmage. See, they're playing what they call a camp technique, where the defensive back is looking at the quarterback, but he's kind of cockeyed sideways. He's looking at the receiver and the quarterback. It's really tough to make him make a misread in those situations, particularly if you got a crafty defender on the back end.
So now fourth and goal, and the Texans will go from the half-yard line.
Somebody's just got to win an individual battle here. I'd like to run it to that soft spot if they really did.
Watson to the air.
Nice.
Ellington with the touchdown. Fourth and goal turns into 6 for the Texans as Ellington gets into the end zone for the first touchdown of 2018 at NRG Stadium.
Well, when you can put a team in a bind and you're so close to the line of scrimmage, you had a choice to go to Tromaine Pope, the back out of the backfield, or you could go with Bruce Ellington, who just really turns a pivot route and sits at just about a yard inside the baseline there for the score. Outstanding pitch and catch. Good football.
fun start to this game.
It really is exciting, and both offenses working the way both respective teams want them.
And the extra point from new kicker Nick Rose. Kaimi Fairbairn banged up this week, so Nick Rose in to do the kicking for the Texans. Bruce Ellington doing the catching from Deshaun Watson. A little celebration, preseason style. 7-7, San Francisco and Houston all knotted up. 5:38 remaining in the first quarter with Spencer Tillman and Drew Doherty. I'm Kevin Kugler. Deshaun and Bruce talking about their touchdown.
You know, players love to see that too, because Bruce Ellington was actually released almost a year ago about this time by the San Francisco 49ers, August 3rd, I think it was. Good to get back at your old team.
DJ Reed, the rookie from Kansas State, looking for a little running room on this kickoff. Not going to find much, just across the 20 near the 22-yard line. All throughout tonight's game, we're going to be checking social media to see what Texans fans are posting. Use the hashtag Texans Game Day, and you can see your tweets and photos on the TV screen later tonight. And make sure you follow the Texans on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat for all the latest news, behind-the-scenes photos, and more. Had some great pictures last week in Kansas City.
Best fans in the league, man.
Looking forward to seeing what you've got in store tonight. Joe Williams, the running back, with Garoppolo still out there at quarterback for the Niners. And on first down, the quick toss to Pierre Garçon. And Garçon breaking a tackle down at the 39-yard line. Pickup of 17 on the play.
Matamosi and company have got to make sure tackles on the back end. Again, just a nice job. Even though the pocket was pushed from up the middle, Garoppolo just put a dart on it. I love the pressure that's coming here. That's what you need to have effectively, the effective quarterback. Ball almost became an errant ball because of the push that Reeder got up front. Very few nose tackles can affect the quarterback from that position like DJ Reeder can.
From the 39-yard line, first down. Toss play to Williams. And Cunningham, like a dart into the backfield, drops him. No gain on the play.
Well, you saw some of that athleticism there and that long lead that he has. He came with an attitude on that play. Zach Cunningham. Man, look at him move and flow, read and react. And when he sees a gap there, he's playing with integrity. That's what you call run fits. Each one, reach one. You know your run blocking responsibility on the offensive side, but you got to know how to seize those opportunities on the defensive side. And Cunningham just did a textbook example there.
Good to get to Joe Williams before he gets a full head of steam. He ran a 4.41 at the combine. On second down, looking to run again, and not much running room once more. Into the arms of Brandon Dunn. Big man makes the tackle. Now third and long for the Niners.
Brandon Dunn, one of the not talked about enough on that front. And he's going to be able to help this team out a lot. And again, there are strengths on this team. I think the defensive front now, along with the inside linebacking core, is an absolute strength for this team right now. A glaring weakness, and you can see J.J. Watt, chief among them, with Reeder now stepping in.
Our 1st and 10 line this quarter is brought to you by Verizon. And it's showing 7 yards for a first down for the 49ers. Pressure coming. Garoppolo standing in to the sideline. It's caught by Marquise Goodwin and out of bounds with a first down.
Yeah, they're working on Matamosi on that far side. And again, with a lot of field work, it's a lot to cover. But that's why they pay you the big bucks in this league. You got to be able to read and react and close. But Garoppolo's on target again. It helps to have that guy calling plays for you, too. Shanahan's one of the best, man. I remember when he came here, he was only 27 years of age. He was the youngest assistant coach in the league.
On first down, McNichols trying to get to the outside, tripped up with a 41. Pick up a 4 on the play for Jeremy McNichols. Dylan Cole out there on the stop.
And shortly thereafter it became, as we look at Dylan Cole, talking about Shanahan, an offensive coordinator, and at that relatively young age as well. He's almost a savant, man, the way he sees things. He's creative.
Second and 6. McNichols in trouble in the backfield. Nice cutback, and he's dropped after a pickup of 2 on the play. In on the tackle, Joel Heath, the third-year man out of Michigan State. Another part of that deep Texans defensive line.
Brandon Dunn was in there as well. Heath was outside, but I think the guy that turned that play back in was Heath, as you pointed out. Heath was there, but Dunn, who had a great play a play and a half ago, folded that play and turned all of that traffic back toward Heath's way.
3rd down and 4. Converted on 3rd and 7 a moment ago. from the 39.
Just a four-man rush.
Garoppolo to the air. The catch made by the third down guy, Trent Taylor, with the grab and a first down to the 34. They needed 4, they got 5, and they moved the chains.
Aaron Colvin again there on the coverage, playing close enough, but Garoppolo didn't hide anything. His eyes are sitting on his receiver. Taylor there from the snap, and then Colvin tried to close on it. He's seeing the same thing that the quarterback wants to throw to, just couldn't get there in time enough.
Kendrick Bourne, the receiver, to the top of the screen on first down. McNichols with the carry, the cutback, and inside the 30 to the 28 goes McNichols, a pickup of 6 on the play. And it leaves the Niners with a second down and 4. Brian Peters among those Texans in there on the stop of Jeremy McNichols.
A lot of Texans playing well today. It'll be picked up in the film session, that's for sure. Guys turning plays in. If you notice, outside of the passing plays, the 49ers have not been able to get to the edges with their run game. It's because of excellent edge protection by the outside rushers.
On 2nd and 4, another toss play. This time Williams trying to get to the edge, and good close by Brian Peters to force him out of bounds. Want to win 2 tickets to the Houston Texans home opener against the Giants on September 23rd? Of course you do. Well, it's very easy. Just keep watching the game. We'll announce the Mattress Firm Rising Star during the 4th quarter. When you hear it, visit abc13.com and enter the Rising Star's name. You could win 2 tickets, parking, and pregame sideline passes for the September 23rd Liberty Whiteout game.
Last week was easy, but I think this week a lot of contributors so far on offense. Jordan Akins kind of stole the show last week and made it a foregone conclusion.
3rd and 2, play action. Garoppolo wide open, finds Cole Hicatini, and Hicatini out of bounds at the 13-yard line of Houston. A pickup of 13, and now the Niners are 5 of 6 tonight on 3rd down.
Yeah, 49 Josh Kyes there. Shanahan looks on, knows he's got a good play. He's probably the culprit on that particular play. That back was in his zone in that area. He's got to drop.
It's the end of the first quarter.
And a first quarter, Walt Anderson, that has had a lot of offense for both teams. Niners and Texans after 1 quarter at NRG Stadium, tied up at 7 apiece. More to come when we return on the Texans Television Network after these messages. Game stats are brought to you by Reliant. The San Francisco 49ers behind a good start from Jimmy Garoppolo, 136 yards passing, 13 yards rushing. Deshaun Watson in his only drive, in fact the Texans' only offensive possession, scored a touchdown as well. And on first down with a flag down behind the play, Jeremy McNichols out near the 7-yard line, but that one's coming back.
Yeah, it's going to be holding, but I think one thing that got missed.
Holding, number 58, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Weston Richburg.
Weston gets caught for it, but I think on the defensive side, Texans got to be careful about coming in with their head down. You can see on that last play down here, Kareem Jackson got to keep that head up because the rules, they're going to be relentless this year.
Another flag down. It's at the 24-yard line.
I didn't see a second flag either.
This had to come right as the ball got set back after the penalty.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 58, offense, 15-yard penalty.
Wow.
It'll still be first down. That is number 58's first unsportsmanlike for possible disqualification.
How about that? So Weston Richburg called for the hold and then compounds it with the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So in his first year with the Niners after 4 years with the Giants, not going to make Kyle Shanahan very happy with that series.
They're usually sipping Chardonnay in San Francisco with that kind of attitude. They don't have that up front. That'll get you sent packing, man.
He's a Texas native. He's got a little of that Texas fire in him. 1st and 35. Garoppolo to the air, a little tall, and it's intercepted. Bonamosi off the tip with the pick at the 16.
Partner, one of the big reasons that this San Francisco 49er team had such a great run, those 6 wins came after week 10, but the Texans were dropping 8 rushers on that. 8 defenders, only 3 rushers up front. The numbers game caught the San Francisco 49ers, and Bonamosi made them pay for it.
The Houston Texans and 100.3 The Bull are proud to bring you Stars at Night, presented by Miller Lite, featuring Granger Smith and Earl Dibbles Jr. This free concert will help kick off the NFL season on Sunday, September 2nd at White Oak Music Hall. The only way in is to win. Visit HoustonTexans.com/Stars at Night to register for 2 free tickets today. Brandon Weeden is in at quarterback for the first time tonight, and Weeden will go to the air on his first opportunity, and he finds Coates along the sideline. Sammy Coates, who has opened a lot of eyes in this Texans camp, his first opportunity, and he makes the catch at the 32, a 15-yard gain.
Big body against bail coverage. Again, that just basically means that the corner is looking at the quarterback and the receiver, using the sideline as his friend, but with that big frame of his, Sammy went up and plucked that ball and made it his own. So you see phase one of this particular style of play, protecting the quarterback. Pace and tempo not a factor now, but Weeden paid it off with the big arm throw.
That's 10 straight completions for Brandon Weeden, dating to last week in Kansas City when he finished 9 for 9. Weeden over the middle, and this one broken up, intended for Griffin. Brandon Weeden, you talked about at the top of the broadcast, Spencer, last week a really good week. In fact, one of the best weeks for a quarterback rating-wise in the NFL.
Yeah, there were about 66 quarterbacks that played in these last 2 weeks of the preseason, and he's ranked like number 2 among all of them. That efficiency, 9 of 11, 81%, 143 quarterback rating was huge.
On 2nd down and 10, Lamar Miller unable to find any running room. And for an update on Texans cornerback Kevin Johnson, let's check in with Drew Doherty.
Yeah, Kevin Johnson is finished for the night. The concussion is that's the call. So he is out with a concussion. No more Kevin Johnson this evening.
All right, Drew, thanks very much. And of course, a concussion is something he battled last year, along with that MCL injury. You hope everything is going to turn out fine for Kevin Johnson. Hate to see that.
Yep. Kevin's got to learn how to fall. I mean, you hate to say it, but you can defend and brace yourself too at the same time.
3rd down and 10 at the 32. Pocket collapsing as Weeden fires for Coates on the sideline. The pass incomplete. Akello Witherspoon out there on the coverage. And the Texans punt team will come on.
Bill O'Brien's trying to figure out exactly what happened there. That's a big throw, but you got a quarterback in Weeden, a former first-round draft pick, drafted because of the strength of his arm by Cleveland. Just a great play, but even better defense on that side. Sometimes you just can't make those plays.
Shane Leckler on to punt. Rookie from Washington, Dante Pettis, back deep. He set an NCAA record with 9 career punt returns for touchdowns, did Pettis. Creeping up on this one at the 24-yard line. Breaks a tackle, breaks 2, and is out of bounds.
I counted 4, partner.
I'm a little more generous than you are in the preseason, Spencer Tillman. Either way, it's Niner ball in a tie game.
Hot and fresh 24 hours a day. And by Hyundai, the official car of the Houston Texans.
Our scoreboard this quarter is brought to you by H-E-B. It shows a 7-7 ball game with 13:03 remaining in the first half. Kevin Kugler, Spencer Tillman, Drew Doherty. Our Texans television crew with you tonight from NRG Stadium in Houston as C.J. Beathard takes over at quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo's night, 10 of 12, 136 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Beathard to the air on 1st down. And Beathard to the sideline, a sliding grab made by Dante Pettis, and that's a 1st down at the 46-yard line, a 12-yard gain on the play.
Beathard had an interception last week, but boy, he should look clean in the pocket there. And for you old football long heads out there, remember Bobby Beathard, his grandfather, longtime NFL man, most notably as we look at J.J. Watt. Beathard most notably with the Washington Redskins and Chargers and others.
Drew's going to have a chance in the second half to talk with J.J. Watt. Get a chance to hear from the star, one of the stars of this entire league, and find out how he's been doing. If you read John Harris at Texans.com like I do, because John is really good, he's been talking a little bit about what J.J.'s done in camp.
Number 84 was on the line of scrimmage covering number 89. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Needless to say, John's reports about J.J. have been very positive as to what he's seen throughout the course of camp from J.J. Watt. We've not seen him yet in the preseason. Maybe a few snaps next week. We'll find out when we go out to Los Angeles.
We hadn't played a whole lot over these last couple of years, but again, the impact that he made still being felt right now. And I think he may be one other player that's able to wear that Walter Payton Man of the Year patch on his shoulder. He'll be wearing that all throughout the season and the rest of his career.
Beathard off play action. On the run, and Beathard got close to that line of scrimmage, and there's a flag. He was over it.
Savvy play to kind of get rid of it. But I think, as you pointed out, partner, he was a hit past that line of scrimmage.
Illegal forward pass.
Yep.
Number 3 offense was beyond the line of scrimmage when he threw the ball forward. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the pass.
He's a good.
And there's a loss of down.
He's a good
Second down.
2.5 yards past the line of scrimmage. Yep. But good thought, though. That's the 5th penalty for San Francisco today, so they're mounting up, but they still are able to move the ball. The Texans, as Coach Shanahan looks on, trying to find a solution to keep them going.
So 2nd down and 18 now as they back it up to the 38-yard line. Head us out to the top of the screen.
This looks like an obvious passing down if you follow his chart. Goodwin was his go-to guy when he was success as a rookie.
Beathard straight drop over the middle, finds the tight end. That's Cole Wick, 2nd year out of Incarnate Word, who stopped at the 48-yard line.
Big target sets in the middle, and Texans had a pretty good defense playing zone behind that. He just found a little soft spot in it and settled down, and Beathard made a nice play.
So a lot of guys deeper on that depth chart now that we're into the 2nd quarter on both sides. 3rd and 8 from the 48. Beathard with time. Big hit level, then hanging on was McNichols. Somehow he makes the catch, but an excellent hit from the rookie, Justin Reed. We'll see a few of those over the course of the year from this highly thought of rookie.
11:20 on the game clock. 11:20 on the game clock, please.
No hesitation this week. Last week he was kind of like a dog with a new pen. He wasn't quite sure whether to eat or not. But the smart guy out of Stanford comes in and lays the leather on him. Nice job.
Bradley Pinion on to punt. Tyler Irvin awaiting the punt. Had a great conversation with Tyler yesterday leading up to this game.
Nice guy.
Oh, terrific guy. Really excited about being healthy and what he can do for this team this year. Irvin from the 12 with a fair catch. More to come from Houston in a 7-7 game.
We going all out. We do the thing.
College football's biggest Saturday officially kicks off in Houston on Labor Day weekend as the Texas Tech Red Raiders take on the Ole Miss Rebels Saturday, September 1st in the Advocare Texas Kickoff. Secure your seats today by visiting AdvocareTexasKickoff.com or by calling 832-667-2390. The best seats are going fast for this Big 12 versus SEC showdown. Don't miss out. On 1st down, Brandon Whedon back in there. Alfred Blue with his first carry, and Blue pushes the pile near the 16-yard line. A pickup of 4 for Alfred Blue.
I'm looking forward to that Texas Tech Ole Miss game. If we look at big Brandon Whedon there, Cliff Kingsbury and David Webb as defensive coordinator, much improved on defense. They got some talent. Don't have a Kiki Kuti, though. He's here with the Texans now, so see if they can still put up some points now.
I'm going to guess they can put up a few points. I think we'll see a little bit of point scoring in that game. 2 weeks away from the college football season.
He'll be here quick as a hiccup.
Whedon.
Nice.
Oh, Griffin nearly with an acrobatic grab at the 28-yard line.
Griffin really laid out for that ball, and Whedon's probably thinking maybe I could have taken something off of it, but he puts it on a rope. A nice release. He knows that it's soft coverage, and he's looking for that ball immediately after he clears that 5-yard mark. His head is turning inside. That's a hands catch. Probably should have caught that anyway. Bet he wanted that one back.
Well, 3rd down and 6, and our 1st and 10 line this quarter is brought to you by Mattress Firm.
Got a pressure look here on the outside. Let's see how the Texans deal with this.
Whedon to the sideline. Coates with a grab and a 1st down.
Well, you're staring pressure in the face. It's really all about execution, even against man coverage number 3. Wheaton sees what he's there. Bill O'Brien loves it. This is what you call pitch and catch. Hard coverage. Straight man. Grab Coates really around by the neckline to prevent him from turning that inside position that he had, but he's so big and strong. He pivoted and turned it inside. Slapped a little 5 there, too, for the catch and the completion.
From the 23 on first down. Blue the single back. Little hesitation as he vaults forward to the 27. 4-yard gain for Alfred Blue.
Second play of that kind where the Texans are resigned to just kind of pop it in the middle and see what kind of manhood does this defensive front for the 49ers have. Just peppering in some new parts of that offensive line, as Bill O'Brien has talked about. He wants consistency there. Of course, the only consistent part to what they had is Nick Martin at the center position. Everything else is reconstituted.
Whedon off the play action. A little shovel past Alfred Blue. Blue down close to the first down. About a yard shy at the 32-yard line. He picks up 5.
If I'm splitting hairs, I'm still saying that's progress for Whedon to have the heads up. And the play design, number 1, we can get the ball away to the quarterback. It's really about getting the ball out, not a clean or really persuasive mesh point for the fullback, again, or Blue, the halfback there. But Whedon does a great job of getting rid of the ball, flicking it to him. He feels the pressure. You can see those eyes look like Kennedy halves, man, in there. He wants to get rid of that ball.
3rd down and 1 at the 32.
Let's see if he does something with this little cluster route right here and get out of there real quick. You got him.
Whedon, quick toss. Coates, 3rd down catch. Coates, first down to the 43.
Good job either side. It was almost like a mirror coverage where what was seen on the far side of the field was identical to what you're seeing on the boundary or the short side of the field. Whedon decided to go left and delivers a strike. That's where that big arm comes into play. And again, for the second time tonight, Coates just pulls away from a would-be defender.
And Whedon starting to look to Coates as a 3rd down receiver, and he's come up big the last 2 3rd downs out to the 42 now with a 10-yard gain.
It's all about trust, man. 3rd and 5, 3rd down tonight. It's the 3rd one for the Texans. See if they can convert.
Miller and newest Texan Quan Bray to the top of the screen on first down. Whedon firing back to the left side, looking for Coates again. Good coverage from Akello Witherspoon. He was running stride for stride with Coates.
You know, Coates has got to understand he can come off of that. Again, the ball is going to come out. The Texans want to get the ball out. That's one of the 3 requisites that Bill O'Brien talked to you and I about. Getting the ball out, and then the receiver's part is to understand that ball is coming out and then stop it. That's the equivalent of a stop route. You go, your receiver's back is to you. You can see the quarterback, he can't. That ball can come out anytime. And it's all predicated on how much pressure the quarterback is feeling.
2nd down and 10 at the 42. Here's Smith. Witherspoon with the first contact, then finished off by Coyle at the 44-yard line. Vincent Smith, the rookie from Limestone, picks up a couple on his first catch.
Love the call there. A little pop play, just out to the wide side of the field or the short side of the field. And what you're doing there is just getting the defense to run. Then you can begin, as a coordinator, start paint the field. You use the breadth and the width of the field. Just make sure that the defense covers every aspect of the field. You ran it in the middle. Prior to that, you run it, you throw it to the left side, and then you throw it to the right side. Make them cover the breadth and width of the field. Strong right formation here, likely to go that way.
Pope in the backfield. Saw him with a big catch out of the backfield last week in Kansas City. 3rd and 8. Whedon steps up. Whedon going to run, and he's tripped up, caught from behind as he tried to pull away by Sheldon Day at the 46-yard line, and the punt team coming on.
Sometimes you just got to let your scheme work for you. And Whedon felt the pressure, but again, he had his back coming out of the backfield. It was a late release, a clean release, and so Pope is actually down here, ready to get the ball thrown to him. A linebacker's about 6 feet away, but Whedon decides to try to go get it himself and comes up short.
Trevor Daniel on the punt now for the Texans. Trent Taylor is back deep for the Niners. Fair catch called for and made at the 9. A flag down during the return.
I think Tyler Irvin might have got popped in the back. He was stumbling there late.
It is against the Niners. It'll push him back half the distance.
Yep.
It's D. Virgin who went tumbling there.
During the kick, illegal block in the back, number 23, receiving team. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. It'll be first down. Timeout.
That's Akello Witherspoon called for the penalty. Timeout in Houston in a tie game. Knotted up 7 apiece, 5:52 remaining in the first half at NRG Stadium. Want to win 2 tickets to the Houston Texans home opener against the Giants right here at NRG Stadium on September 23rd. So easy to do. Just to keep doing what you're doing right now, watching the game. We're going to announce the Mattress Firm Rising Star during the fourth quarter. When you hear it, just go to abc13.com and enter that Rising Star's name. You could win 2 tickets, parking, and pregame sideline passes for the September 23rd Liberty Whiteout game. Not a bad deal at all, as the carry by Jeremy McNichols is stopped at the 11-yard line. Pickup of 6 on the play.
Kenan Gilchrist, a nice stop there. Did a fantastic job of flowing and reacting to that play backed up. You know, guys on the defensive side of the ball start to get hungry when you got an offense backed up against their goal line or close to it. Great opportunity to make big plays.
Second down and 4 at the 11. Carry again for McNichols. Very close to the first down at the 14.
Famba Kamala getting in there, getting his nose in there, getting in the mix. Again, this is a strength for this ball club. That defensive front, which was so beleaguered by injuries last year, with J.J. out merciless with the torn pectoral muscle, that just devastated this front. Linebackers, down linemen included.
Everybody, though, back, feeling healthy right now.
Including J.J.
Including J.J. Drew. We'll find out exactly how he feels coming up when we chat with him in the second half. On third down, and the first down is gained by Jeremy McNichols out to the 17.
There's Kamala again, a stop on that play. He's been active between that tackle guard gap. He's 94, showing you he's dependable. That's where your manhood gets tested.
Last year, 9 games, 6 tackles, a couple of sacks. Saw action in 4 games the year before. He was an undrafted rookie out of Miami in 2016.
Texans with a 4-man look, 1-man and up.
Off play action, Beathard on the roll, lots of time, and Beathard throws it short. Down at the 26-yard line goes Cole Hicatini, the tackle made by Kenan Gilchrist.
But the closing speed of Gilchrist is really what saved the day there. There's going to be a penalty on the Texans, but again, showing you that speed, the burst. Nice job with the play action.
That flag down on the opposite side of the field, back at the 40-yard line. First Texans penalty here.
It's been clean, man. That's San Francisco has 5 penalties, but Texans just with 1. Play action, really did a nice job with this. Fooled pretty much everybody, but Gilchrist closing speed, number 47, does a nice job of coming all the way from the other side to make a play.
It's the second catch tonight for Cole Hicatini for the Niners.
Prior to the pass, holding number 52, defense. San Francisco has elected to enforce the penalty 5 yards from the previous spot. It'll be an automatic first down.
Poor Cole Hicatini's going to lose a catch now with the enforcement of that penalty.
So they caught Brian Peters on it, and I guess he's working right here underneath. And again, that's a
wasn't much there.
Wasn't much there, man. I'm telling you, that's a questionable call.
Romeo Crennel would certainly agree with it.
The Oracle.
Ball start, number 78, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Earl Williams on the left side moving and giving the 5 yards right back.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, I think the penalty gods have been watching over the Texans in that last sequence there to kind of even things up a little bit.
I think most Texans fans would appreciate that help more in the regular season than the preseason. So first down and 15. 3-step drop for Beathard. Pettis with the grab, and Pettis down in the arms of D. Virgin with a first down at the 36-yard line. A pickup of 20 on the play. And And a good play from Beathard to Pettis.
Not sure if Deep Virgin knew exactly what was happening behind him. Again, they were rolling or bailing out to a cover 2 look with 2 deep safeties. So that receiver got so wide open so quickly, gave me a sense that he either got beat off the ball or busted the assignment.
Play action again. Beathard with time.
Double
Beathard
move.
looking deep. Pettis is open, and he just overthrew him. Pettis had about 2 steps on Virgin down the sideline, but Beathard just missed him.
Well, he double moved him, did Pettis, and you can see Beathard did a nice job of putting this ball up in the air. It took a while because it was a double move. D. Virgin got turned around, and he's fortunate if that ball's on the mark. Pettis hits his head on the goalpost, man, with the score.
So close for the Niners. Texans dodge a bullet there, 2nd and 10 from the 37.
D's in soft coverage now.
And that pass incomplete. Virgin on the coverage again. This time Aaron Burbridge, the intended receiver, and it's 3rd down.
You know, it's lonely out there on that island. There's not a lot of protection, particularly when there's no help over the top. You got to be able to, what we have call a snap and clear mentality. After you have a bad play, wipe that thing from your memory and come right back.
3rd down and 10 at the 37. Motion from Trent Taylor. Beathard flush, throws short to McNichols. McNichols not going to get the 1st down yardage. Good close, Drummond there, along with D. Virgin, to make the stop short of the 1st down.
And Curtis Drummond really Johnny on the spot there. And the Texans trying to get it done with just a 4-man rush. Resigned to play coverage instead. The numbers work to their advantage. And again, Drummond comes up and saves the day. Got to punt it away.
Or do they? On 4th and 3.
That's true, man. Wow.
San Francisco going to go for
This
it.
is a gamble. Maybe they're going to just try to draw him off sides. I mean, this is a risky call even by Shanahan standing. Yeah, they're going to just try to. Yeah.
And there's the 2-minute warning. We'll step aside from Houston. 4th and 3 for the 49ers in a tie game. Stay tuned for the halftime show brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Play the Houston Texans scratch off today for a chance to win big. Coming up, our kid reporter sits down with head coach Bill O'Brien, and Christian Covington returns home to Canada. Now, Deshaun Watson, we saw him for 1 series tonight, but it was a touchdown series.
It was impressive. He burst on the scene, of course, last year before it was shortened. He found Ellington underneath for a nice pitch and catch, big yardage. Then his big tight end, Griffin, was found in the corner route. Showed you his eyes, and he still got that ability to come back to the off receiver before another touchdown there. And again, you can see him finish it off. Ellington, his familiar battery mate for a score. Watson, Ellington, get used to it.
Texans putting it in the end zone with Deshaun Watson. Get used to that as well.
Deshaun Watson is an elite player, man. And again, we've used up all the superlatives to describe him, but they're all justified. He's a rare talent.
Niners will punt it away after the 2-minute warning. Irvin from the 11, and he is level. Nowhere to go. Here comes a flag, though. Raheem Mostert with the tackle on special teams. Now, is this the new helmet rule that's coming into play in the league this year?
Well, again, on special teams, these are the types of plays where they wanted to prevent it. And again, they'll try to sort out and figure out if he intentionally lowered his helmet and created a linear position approach.
Unnecessary roughness, lowering the head to initiate contact. Number 31, kicking team. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Now, is he linear? That's the question.
Well, you know, he almost went down to his knees, and I don't think he's going to be ejected. They will review this during the regular season back in New York City. He went down to his knees. He actually had his helmet to the right from his point of view, and then Irvin dits there, and his ball is, the head is on the right side of the return man. So I don't think that's an egregious foul there. I think he gets ejected because of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that once that's looked at during the regular season that that's even a penalty.
No, I agree with you.
On First down, Alfred Blue. Weaving through traffic with a flag down behind him. Blue out to the 43. If it stands, a pickup of 17.
From the angle that it came, it looked like it might have been holding, but on the Texans, so I think
Holding, number 83, offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's still first down.
That's the rookie Jordan Thomas called for the hold.
Well, sometimes it's tough on these reach plays to see it, but usually if a guy is trying to go the direction that the running back is going and you don't let him go against those white jerseys, they're going to see your hands every single time. You got to let him go.
Tough one there, cost the Texans a big gain. 1st and 11 at the 25. Troy Maine Pope in now at running back. Whedon, pass deflected and incomplete. And a flag comes in.
Wow. All of a sudden, what was a clean game all of a sudden gets full of laundry. In a 3-minute span, we've had like 4 penalties.
Ronald Blair tipped that one. While the officials discuss what's happening, 2 players battling for the football. DJ Reed and Bruce Ellington. Pretty sure that ball is dead when you've got 4 officials at a conference right around the 20-yard line.
Well, Bruce Ellington, the former San Francisco 49ers, is going to have his ears up. He's chatting with his old teammate over there. They're familiar with one another. A little shucking and jiving going on there.
It's Reuben Foster.
Yep.
Pass interference, number 88, offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Each of the rookie tight ends have been called for a penalty. Thomas and now Jordan Akins.
Well, Akins was the star last week, and I guess coaches will tell you that the greatest ability is dependability. 2 touchdowns last week, but can you play from scrimmage as cleanly and as effectively? A lot of times not everybody runs well with a full cup of success. Young players perform well one week and then need to be consistent and play well the next. You may not get to score a touchdown the following week, but you can play clean.
Texans have played clean for the most part tonight until this recent spurt. 1st and 21 back at the 15. Slings it out to Whedon to Ellington, and Ellington up the sidelines out of bounds at the 21. Pickup of 6. Clock will stop. 1:31 remaining in this first half.
Really love that play design. You got a big wide end receiver out on the outside. That was Sammy Coates blocking for Ellington. You can see, put the big receiver out there on a little pencil neck cover guy and let Ellington try to get by him. I just love the strategy there and the way that play was designed. Big receiver, little corner, elusive receiver, catches, makes positive yards.
He might take offense to that little pencil neck comment you worked in there. 2nd and 15 as Whedon will air it deep, and a little bit of confusion there.
That's twice now that Sammy's had misstep in terms of reading exactly what the quarterback wants to do on that. Yeah, I mean, that was clear mistake. And Whedon may have been at fault. The bottom line is there was not good, clear communication between the quarterback. The pressure's coming, but the Texans do a nice job of creating a pocket and protecting him. Coach just thought that ball was coming to him on an outcut. And Whedon already focused on downfield, throwing the ball. Bill O'Brien thought something was there.
He didn't like what he saw.
Nope,
that was very obvious. Third down and 15. And the draw to Pope, and Pope runs into the arms of Eli Harold. For the most part, the Niners with their starting linebackers still in the game. Harold, one of those guys.
First charge timeout.
And Eli Harold with the tackle. And the Niners use the timeout. They'll work on a little 2-minute situation here.
And that's wise, too. Again, on the road, this is a context where you want to work on that as Troy Maine Pope comes off the field there. You want to create situational context on the road. Place you're not familiar with. It's good to do it. Good work.
The Houston Texans want your kid to play flag football. We're teaming up with the YMCA of Greater Houston to offer NFL flag football for boys and girls, grades 1st through 8th. Registration closes September 10th, so sign your kids up before it's too late. Visit ymcahouston.org for more info. Shane Leckler back out there to punt. Pettis backing up, a little bobble at the 26. And Pettis with an 11-yard return out near the 37-yard line. That's where the Niners will work with 2 timeouts and 1:08 remaining in this first half. Now, we talked about the Niners trying to get it done on the road. Bill O'Brien with some thoughts about what it means to win at home.
I think it's important. I think you have to really understand how important it is to win at home, because it's so hard to play on the road in this league that you have to take advantage of your home crowd.
Well, this crowd will be fired up September 23rd when the home opener hits and the Giants come to town, slipping through the hands of McNichols. The pass incomplete.
Matamosi was bracketed on that outside. Had an opportunity at a pick. You got to be alert. You saw it last week happen from the linebacker position with Zach Cunningham and his battery mate Dylan Cole tipped that ball up in the air, and he was there. And that was a bang-bang play. Tough to see it, but Matamosi had a chance to haul that one in.
Four-man pressure. Beathard slings it to McNichols, and McNichols tripped up at the 44-yard line, 7-yard gain on the play.
Carlos Watkins nailed him, though, as he released that ball, number 91, and did a nice job of putting his hat and affecting the quarterback, but not before it was completed.
Clock continuing to run, though. Niners going to use a timeout with 38 seconds remaining.
This is the second
in this first half.
Timeout, San Francisco. 30-second timeout.
Kyle's not going to let this opportunity pass without getting this quarterback some experience. Romeo Crennel is going to play him, give it back to him.
Learning opportunity for some of Romeo Crennel's backups and young guys that can factor in as this season goes along. Defensive coordinator back in charge. Texans, the last year he was the DC, 2016, they led the National Football League defensively. Romeo Crennel back again, and by the time the regular season starts in New England, he should have a lot of very big names out there on the defensive side, healthy and ready to go.
One of the best teachers and coaches in this game.
3rd down and 3. Beathard fires, and it's incomplete. Trent Taylor, normally money on 3rd down.
On the field is an incomplete
Can't
pass.
pull this one in. Andre Chauchure is there, and it's 4th down.
Chauhure did a nice job of breaking that again. Matamosi playing coverage up top. That ball was put on a rope right between those two defenders. Just a nice job of fighting it, not allow the receiver to complete the catch. Great defense there.
Good job defensively by the Texans to stymie the Niners. Tyler Irvin back deep.
Chance for a return here for Irvin.
Irvin from the 14 with a fair catch, and 24 seconds until halftime with the Texans deep in their own end. When those Texans get back home on the 23rd of September, they will have had a rough road to start the season, Spencer Tillman, at New England and at Tennessee.
Facing those tough running backs at Tennessee, and again, anytime you deal with New England, I don't care where they are, they're going to be great. If you saw Brady the other night,
oh my goodness,
he was just in fuego, man. This guy is like yesterday's wine. He just gets better with time.
Unreal to think about him coming out of the gates like he did the other night. I mean, he looked mid-season, late-season form. Played the whole first half.
Yeah, the new cast of characters. The guy hadn't missed a beat.
On 1st down, Weeden to the air. Troymaine Pope with the catch. Flag down behind the play as Pope is tackled at the 19.
That comes out late. Typically, is some type of holding when you see it.
Personal foul. Lowering the head to initiate contact.
Wow.
Number 92, defense. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
Jeremiah Atauchu, our second helmet call of the night, the first against the 49ers.
Let's see if we can see Atauchu potentially put his head down. And also, you know, they don't have to make it like at the college game contact with another helmet. It's any side of the body part. You can see him here working on the outside. He puts his helmet down. That's it. That's what they're looking for. And here's the thing about it. That's the interior line play.
Yep, lowered his helmet, initiating contact.
They're serious about protecting these players now.
On first down, Whedon to the sideline. Coates gets hammered as he's unable to pull it in. Antone Exum delivers a big hit to Sammy Coates. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, that was just a good shoulder hit there on a big receiver. Couldn't protect himself, but possibly should have caught that ball anyway. He's going to take a hit, man. You got to catch that. You can't get short-armed on that one. On the far side, there's a psychological part of the game.
Second charge timeout. Houston.
Antone Exum with the hit. Here's the rule change. It's a foul if a player lowers his head to initiate and make contact with his helmet against an opponent. The player may be disqualified, and as we saw, it applies to any player anywhere on the field. That last helmet call was a perfect example of the end of that rule. I mean, applies to any player anywhere on the field.
This is going to be so counterintuitive to how the game is played, particularly. You know, we were coached to put our hat on the football on coverage teams. Can't do that anymore. Outside rushers can't butt with the head anymore like that. This is going to be a radical change, but it's for the betterment of the game and the safety of the players.
Second down. Whedon looking deep for Smith, a jump ball, and it's incomplete. He wanted Vincent Smith. The coverage out there for the 49ers from Greg Maben.
That ball's thrown up and maybe doesn't have enough air in it. We've talked about Whedon's arm and how big it is, and probably needed a little bit more on that one to put it in a position where the receiver had a legitimate shot at making it in that corner.
So now 3 seconds left until halftime. One more chance for Whedon to air out his arm deep.
Just got to be careful, though, because if you got to throw it, the receiver's got to get down there. It's going to take a while for this to develop. Got to protect yourself.
Throws it short, and Pope can't pull it in. And halftime is here. 7-7 at the break. Niners and Texans each scoring on their opening possession. And then we've kind of gotten stuck in the mud.
Got sloppy, in fact. They got to clean things up for the second half, and they'll get a talking to from Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien's going to be with us in just a moment. Halftime in Houston with the Texans and 49ers knotted up at 7 apiece. Bill O'Brien with a little conversation with the officiating crew before he talks with our Drew Doherty.
Yeah, he's having a talk. He's not happy about it, whatever it is. He's going to make Drew pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go to Drew Doherty for the halftime interview with Bill O'Brien, driven by BMW.
All right, Coach, Deshaun Watson goes 5 of 8, 73 yards, a touchdown. In union with that, what you saw the 2 days in practice against the 49ers, how would you evaluate what you saw?
I think he was 5 for 8 with 3 drops, too, right? So technically he might have been 8 for 8. No, he did a good job in the first drive. After that, it hasn't been very good offensively, so we got to try to figure out what we're doing at halftime here and come out with some more energy in the second half.
On the defensive side of things, what do you like? What do you want to clean up?
You know, I think we just need to tackle better. I think we need to set the edge better in the running game. You know, we got to get guys kind of rushing the passer better, but I think they're giving good effort, and as long as that continues, you know, we'll be in good shape.
Thanks a lot. Have a good second half.
Thanks.
All right, Drew, thanks very much. That's the end of the first half with our score, Texans 7, San Francisco 49ers 7. Drew Doherty's back with the Texas Lottery halftime show right after these messages.
This broadcast is brought to you by the Texas Lottery, supporting Texas education and veterans. Play the Houston Texans scratch-off today for a chance to win big.
Watching Houston Texans preseason football presented by Mattress Firm. When the Texans win, you win at Mattress Firm. 7-7 as we get ready to start this second half at NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. Alongside Spencer Tillman, I'm Kevin Kugler. When we saw the number one offense out there, it resulted in a touchdown for the Houston Texans. It's a 7-7 ball game, but I think if you're a Texans fan, you take away from the fact that the only time we saw Deshaun Watson, he led his team down the field for a score.
Well, he and Bruce Ellington looked really good. The number one pitch and catch combination was fine. It was really Brandon Whedon. Sammy Coates really had the problem connecting in the second half. So it's been a tale, I think, of quarters if you're looking at it from a production standpoint. The first tandem,
good. The second tandem, Wheaton and Coates, not so much.
Well, let's take a look at the first half stats. Our first half stats presented by Reliant. And see Deshaun Watson's numbers. As Bill O'Brien said, 5 of 8, 73 yards. But did he have 3 drops? And there could have been 8 for 8. Very impressive performance for Deshaun Watson in his only series tonight.
No question. He located the ball extremely well. The protection was excellent. He placed it, and of course, Bruce was the guy on the receiving end most of the time. The production came, and of course, he hit his tight end down the stretch later on. But I think ultimately, this combination right here is the one you're going to get used to and we'll see most frequently.
Both quarterbacks have been very clean tonight. No sacks for either team so far in this one. There's Deshaun Watson, ready to relax on the sidelines. Brandon Whedon's got a baseball cap on. It may be the same thing we saw last week in Kansas City, where Whedon played until about halftime, and then Joe Webb took over for the start of the second half.
We want to see what Wheaton has done. We know he's got the big arm. We know that he can fire the ball pretty much and locate it anywhere on the field. With Wheaton contrasting style, and we talked about in the open how Bill O'Brien not just thinks he can, he probably needs to, given what happened to this team, moving all the way from 3rd in rushing. But when Deshaun Watson went down all the way to 31st, again, that productivity lost because they became one-dimensional. Couldn't get the ball out with Tom Savage, got hit often early, and that was a problem for this team. So he thinks he can, Bill O'Brien, get both these quarterbacks going and be productive.
A flag down on the kickoff as it rolls to the 5-yard line, and Troymaine Pope looking for a little running room. Troymaine Pope down the sideline, and Pope into Niner territory at the 45-yard line.
There is a flag down, but I tell you what, Troymaine Pope shows you he's able to run at either end, and they may bring this back, partner, but still being able to show you can run and make an impact in this team and return game is significant for Troymaine Pope.
Bill O'Brien this week was really encouraged by his special teams during the joint practices. He said we had a couple of really big kickoff returns. See another one here in the game from Troymaine Pope, and that flag came down immediately on the kick, but then there's another flag on the opposite side of the field at the 22-yard line. So we may see offsetting penalties here. And remember, the new kickoff rules, nobody can get a running start. You wonder if maybe one of the Niners didn't go back to the old days and get a running start. Let's see if we can see.
Everybody's playing by the rules, 5 by 5, but I think one person, the kicker can be at the line and in motion, but no one else can be. I think there was one player that crossed that line before the kicker got there. Legal procedure would be the call.
Well, there's a flag also back at the 22 on the opposite side of the field.
There are fouls by both teams. Illegal formation, number 92 of the kicking team. Illegal double team block, number 42 of the receiving team during the return. Houston has elected the option for those fouls to offset, will re-kick.
See if they can get another return from Troymaine Pope. But that's a play, even though it didn't count, that is going to give Bill O'Brien a little something to think about when he's looking for guys to make this 53-man roster, because special teams is one area that he is really emphasizing as he decides who's going to make the roster and who isn't coming down the stretch here of the preseason.
And alternately, Jeremiah Tachus, who had the infraction for San Francisco, illegal formation. I think it was really the fact that he was past the line, that only the kicker can be passed before his foot strikes the ball. That's what the call was, and they'll have to get that corrected. See, the rule is now these guys have to be 5 on this side, 5 on that side, and the only one that can be in motion before the foot hits the ball is the kicker. These guys have got to be still. There used to be a time when these guys would motion and move and to create odd man fronts. It was tough to block them.
Pope 6 yards deep, out he comes. Troymaine Pope got one block, needed a second, and is down at the 22-yard line. Let's check out our click list of the second half, brought to you by Kroger.
Well, we're looking for a recovery from Justin Reed, who we talked about against the Chiefs. Came out kind of like a dog with a new pan. He wasn't quite sure whether to eat or not, but he showed well in coverage. And then, of course, who emerges in the run game? We just saw Troymaine Pope
On the kickoff return game, can he do it from scrimmage? Still looking for an answer there. And then the continuity from the offensive line. We're down to that second and third unit, and other parts are sticking in right now. But so far, so good.
Here's Joe Webb, first series at home at quarterback for the presumptive number 3 quarterback, and Webb on the run on first down to the 28-yard line. And you talked about it at the top of the broadcast, Spencer, the differences in the quarterbacks behind Deshaun Watson. We've seen Brandon Weeden, but Joe Webb's skill set a little bit more of a Deshaun Watson skill set, isn't he?
That's right, and even at 31 years of age, his skill set is dangerous enough to create big plays. He had the significant run, of course, led the team in rushing against the Kansas City Chiefs on just 4 rushes, 42 yards. That's his specialty. Breaking plays open that way, but it affects everybody differently. He's not Weeden. He's not going to sit back there and stand in the pocket. He's going to move.
Also makes an impact on special teams as well. On 2nd and 4, Webb with time to run. He will run. And Webb slides with a first down at the 34.
See, that's a great example of how he can extend plays as Watson looks on. He's not Deshaun Watson, but this is a pretty good facsimile. Pulls it down after the coverage is done, sees nothing open downfield and just tucks it, slides, saves himself, live another day. First down.
Our 1st and 10 line this quarter is brought to you by Palais Royal. 1st and 10 at the 34.
Sorry, partner, we talked about him not being a liability in the throw game.
A good block to spring Braxton Miller, and Miller down at the 49, a 15-yard gain.
Yeah, this is kind of boola college stuff here. When you see four verticals, usually you're thinking going downfield. No, getting it out quick, letting Braxton Miller play a little college ball. Get it upfield, a little quick pop to the slot guy.
How about Quan Bray? Just joined the team this week, getting the block to spring Miller.
Yeah, Quan Bray, more than one way you can make an impact, not just as a return guy, which is why they brought him on.
Alfred Blue on first down. Tried to cut it back against the grain, but could not get away from Ronald Blair III from Warner as well.
Yeah, Warner was waiting for him on that back door. And, you know, sometimes a big guy, it doesn't matter what size you are, you're going to run out of real estate because if they're playing their assignment well, that cutback lane is going to be shut down by an edge guy. And that's exactly what Alfred Blue ran into in Warner.
Fred Warner, the rookie 3rd-round pick out of BYU. 7 career interceptions as a linebacker, 2nd most in BYU history. 2nd and 9 from midfield. Webb with time, and the pass incomplete. Bray, the intended target, broken up by DJ Reed.
That just comes with a guy that's not as familiar with what's going on with the offensive scheme versus off coverage like that. I think Reed's playing good defense, but you can do something else with that. They call them Reed routes. If a guy's standing up in front of you, you can take him inside or outside, depending on what the route outside of you is doing. And Bray didn't look like he understood exactly what his options were. Straight man with a single safety. This means somebody's got to win. Let's see if they can handle this pressure right here. They're bailing out.
Just a 4-man rush after the bailout. Webb throws, pass incomplete. He was looking for Smith, and there's a flag. He wanted Vincent Smith, but coming through Smith, Tavarius Moore, the rookie out of Southern Miss, and Moore going to be flagged.
If that ball's in the air and you touch him.
Pass interference, number 45. Defense. Spot of the foul, first down.
This is one of the points of emphasis this year. You can see Moore here settling in the middle of the field, but that body contact comes right here with Moore before the ball reaches him.
Tavarius Moore, his cousin Antonio McDyess, spent 17 years in the NBA. You can get away with that contact in the league.
You can be handsy in the NBA, but not in this level.
From 34, Blue trying to power forward over the left side down to the 31. Pickup of 3 for Alfred Blue. This running back battle is an interesting battle with Houston. You've got Lamar Miller, you've got Alfred Blue. Of course, Deontay Foreman still rehabbing from that ruptured Achilles late November of last year against Arizona. The Texans last year, 115.1 yards on the ground per game, right in the middle of the league. But you know, Miller's slimmer, more sleek this year. You've got Urban in the mix. You've got Pope in the mix. This is an interesting battle at running back as Blue tries to cut and he loses his footing near the line of scrimmage.
There's room, partner, to extend that conversation. There's room for somebody to step up and get significant minutes playing. Because last year, Lamar Miller, of course, he was about 15 pounds heavier than he is this year. He simply wore down last year. And so there's some opportunity for some guys to come in and spell him. I was hoping, just from a personal standpoint, Lamar Miller looks good, and he told us yesterday that, you know, he's going to try to do everything he possibly can to please Bill O'Brien and stay healthy. But this 16-game haul called the National Football League is no joke. You're going to wear down.
Miller averaging a career low 3.7 yards per carry. That's really where you saw that reflected the most.
The first time in his career he had been under 4 yards a carry.
3rd down and 7. Webb with the pocket collapsing, looking down the sideline for Braxton Miller. The pass incomplete. There's a flag at the line of scrimmage and a flag in the secondary.
That could be a double penalty in San Francisco. It could be holding and maybe a personal foul. You can see again, it's all about protection or lack thereof. When you can get
there are
guys.
2 fouls on the play, both by the defense. Illegal contact, number 43 of the defense. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 47 of the defense. That penalty is accepted, 15 yards, 1st down.
It's Elijah Lee, and I think he made contact with the helmet.
Yeah, so they let Saxons go, but again, if you put that helmet, the hand to the helmet is what it was. It wasn't the helmet to helmet, it was just the hand to the head. That's a point of emphasis this year as well. Any contact to the head, they're going to protect the quarterback in that situation.
Yeah, and that play has been something they've looked at the last few years in the league. You cannot really at any point bring your hand to the helmet of the quarterback. So 1st down and 10 at the 16-yard line. Here's Alfred Blue, lost the football. Johnny on the spot to cover it up is Chad Slade. Slade was the only Texan in the area, and the big man from Auburn found the football and able to secure it back at the 20-yard line.
Talk about having your head on a swivel. Why you got it on a swivel really doesn't matter. Having an instinct for the ball, that ball pops out. Slade was right there to jump on it, preserving an opportunity to score. Alfred Blue, typically sure-handed, but the hand to the face is probably what shook him up there. 49ers could have gotten called for a face mask penalty there.
Instead of 4-yard loss, and it's 2nd and 14 for the Texans at the 20-yard line. Webb again with time, this time to Pope, and Pope down at the 15. 5-yard gain on the play.
Little subtle things that you look at Pope there. Just that little hesitant move that he made so quick. It's just like a little hiccup. There's a difference between speed and quickness, and he is quick as a hiccup. In space, he's tough to tackle. See, the thing is, he's got to be able to complement his run game. We saw what he did last week against the Chiefs with a nice catch and then run down field.
47 receiving yards last week, most of them coming on the 134-yard play. 10th play of the drive for the Texans. 3rd and 9 at the 15. Webb looking for Pope, almost intercepted by Elijah Lee.
Tried to catch Pope on a wheel route. Wasn't fooling the safety man who was back there, the corner rather, was back there waiting, looking at the whole time. And I'd like to be able to hit him a little bit quicker than that, give him the option to do it, particularly when a safety is playing off coverage. The only time you want to throw that wheel route is when it clearly has him beat, or at least is even. Maybe you get a pass interference out of it. Ill-advised.
Now the former Texas Longhorn signed on Thursday of this week Nick Rose with Fairbairn dinged up. Rose on for the field goal try to give the Texans the lead. And Rose's first attempt as a Texan is good. And the Texans take the 10-7 lead. 9:08 remaining in the 3rd. Houston up by 3. The scoreboard this quarter brought to you by your local Texas Ford dealers. A 10-7 lead on that scoreboard for the Houston Texans. An 11-play, 63-yard drive. Nick Rose with the 32-yard field goal. Joe Webb engineering the drive. And Bill O'Brien did his homework before the Texans signed Joe Webb.
Spoke to Ron Rivera.
Yep. Said he came highly recommended as a good guy. And that's one of the things they were really looking for. Yeah, we need a good quarterback, but also want a good guy in the locker room.
Well, he's a great leader, there's no question, and a great special teams player.
Speaking of some special teams, the Niners getting a terrific return from DJ Reed, the speed merchant out of Kansas State, who averaged over 34 yards a return in his final year at K-State. And Reed with a big return here for the 49ers.
He's a big-time player for Bill Snyder. Takes this ball, and this is a theme we're going to see. Guys taking it, returns out from deep end. Nice open field running there. Texans missing an opportunity to make a play in open field, which Chauncey Reed just missed it. Ward does a nice job of moving and getting them excellent field position at the 40. Now they'll navigate.
Three-step drop for Beathard, who's hit as he throws, and the pass caught by Kendrick Bourne, who had 16 catches a year ago. Second down and 4 after the 6-yard pickup.
Texans bringing pressure on that play. It was really good to see them do that. Josh Kyes had a big hit last week against Kansas City. He's aggressive.
Josh Thornton, Andre Chauchure out there on the defensive side in the secondary, and a good tackle made on the play by Brian Peters, who snuck up there at the line of scrimmage to trip him up for no gain.
You know, partner, the guy I heard use the phrase for the first time, ebb and flow, was George Seifert at San Francisco. And I've noticed this game has that. It has ebbed and flowed. Clean play early on, and then by the end of the half, we had like 5 fouls over 2.5-minute period. And then things have picked up. The pace has picked up. Playing a lot cleaner, more effective. Guys hunting for opportunity and jobs.
3rd down and 4. Beathard batted down at the line by Carlos Watkins.
Getting the hand up. I mean, again, that's kind of what I'm talking about. These guys are playing with extra effort right now, trying to make it. You can sense it. Carlos does a nice job of pushing. Nice opportunity to get to the quarterback. A spin move on the outside by our old friend. He does a nice job, does Carlos, of getting his hand, throwing it in the throwing lane. Whitney Merciless there, first to cheer him on when he comes to the sideline.
Braxton Miller back awaiting the punt. To your point about the sloppy play towards the end of the first half, how much of that has to do with fatigue? Guys playing a lot early in the season, early in the preseason rather?
That's been my experience, that games are actually easier than the practice. I mean, that's just, look, they've been out in the heat. Wednesday and Thursday was a beast.
Now they're all happy to have the roof closed tonight and the air conditioning at NRG Stadium. Hot day in Houston. Texans game day. As we wind our way towards the start of the regular season, everybody's starting to get excited for a little football and get excited what they're going to see out of this Houston Texans team in 2018. Joe Webb back out there for his 2nd series at quarterback. And the first carry for Levon Coleman, and Coleman on his first carry pops through a hole, gets the first down to the 27-yard line. The rookie from Washington.
Coleman, you talk about smoke through a keyhole. You can see the little slide option there, that little quick move to make an open field miss there. Coleman, he's feeling it, man. That's what I'm talking about when you seize opportunity. There's room, as you alluded to earlier, partner, for someone to make an impact in this backfield.
2,000 yards in his Washington career. And Coleman again on first down, and the ball's out. Fumbled the football, and the Niners have it at the 28-yard line. Coleman lost it, and it fell right at the feet of 3 San Francisco 49ers. Fred Warner with a recovery.
Recovered by the defense. First down, San Francisco.
Fred Warner's on the recovery, and again, D'Amico Ryan's former Texan, first to meet him. But again, after Coleman delivers a nice little nifty run, a little ISO draw, he gives the ball up. And you just got to be able to take that third aspect of your protection, and that's to fold yourself over the ball. 3 points of pressure. He missed it. Just missed it. I'm telling you, that right there will get you an apple in the roadmap if you're not careful, because particularly if this turns into a score.
DJ Jones poked it free with a left hand, and on first down, the carry for Jeremy McNichols to the 25. We mentioned why you've seen a lot of Joe Williams and Jeremy McNichols at running back tonight. Both Matt Breida with a separated shoulder and Jerick McKinnon with a calf strainer out for the rest of the preseason. 2 guys that will factor in big for the Niners this year.
They had 6 players injured in that first week. I mean, most of them will be back for week 1, but they were decimated at the running back position.
Well, they'll want him back for week 1. The Texans have a tough first week. So do the Niners. They go to Minnesota. Empty backfield on 2nd and 7 at the Houston 25. Beathard with pressure late, and he threw that one away. He looked out of the corner of his eye and saw Davin Bellamy pop free, and discretion, Spencer, being the better part of valor, C.J. Beathard said, you know what, I'm going to throw that to the third row.
The Bellamy brothers coming off the side there. You're too young to remember those guys.
Oh, come on now. I've got Google. See David Bellamy's numbers at Georgia. 48 games, the undrafted rookie. Those are not the Bellamy brothers.
No, not at all.
James in motion on third down and a timeout. Niners will take the timeout. 6:17 to go in the third. The play clock was down to 3. And a 3rd and 7 play coming up here from the 25-yard line. But first, a quick break in Houston with the Texans hanging on to a 3-point lead. Spencer, I just think this AFC South is such a fascinating division this year. You have 2 playoff teams, the Jags who lost in the conference championship and the Titans who lost in the divisional round. No shame losing to the Patriots. The Colts get Andrew Luck back. The Texans get Deshaun Watson back. You got to figure those teams have a great chance to improve on the 4-12 record. The Texans have a chance to really turn it around, considering they also get J.J. Watt back and Whitney Merciless and Clowney. I mean, you've got so much talent. This division is fascinating to me.
Well, you know about their defense, but the Titans, you got to watch them too. I mean, they've gone places they hadn't gone in the last 9 years, making it to the playoffs, and then, of course, getting that wild card win over the Kansas City Chiefs. Marcus Mariota has them looking and headed in the right direction.
Beathard under pressure. Beathard on the run, and Beathard short of the first down. Joel Heath grabbed a hold of the jersey of Beathard and would not let go. And 4th down brings the field goal unit on for San Francisco.
Heath says, I got a Heath bar here. I'm going to swallow him up. He does a nice job with a 3-man, actually 4-man rush. Heath stays active and engaged, grabs that jersey, and just brings him down by the back, just like we used to do in the schoolyard. That's outstanding play, staying after it.
39-yard field goal try now for Robbie Gould. 5th all time in NFL history at an 87% accurate clip. And Gould bends this field goal through to tie the game at 10. So the Texans' turnover costs them 3, but the defense able to stiffen and hold to just that field goal.
I think that's a winning series right there. Again, they did a nice job of stiffening up. I pointed out how they're playing with more of an emergency right now. The Texans acquitted themselves well on that top.
Congratulations from Christian Covington as he greets the defensive line coming to the sideline.
Christian Covington, one of the bright stars, I think, that's kind of ended the last year on the injury reserve list, but he's so strong, active personality, an affable guy. Catch him on the internet too, man. He's got some cool things going.
Well, Bill O'Brien said this week, people don't ask me enough about Christian Covington. He said he's making plays in the run game, he's making plays in the pass game. His torn bicep ended his year, went on IR on Halloween Day, and well, that was a definite trick, not a treat for the Texans on Halloween when they lost Christian Covington. Talented young man, the Rice product. He's back and healthy. We've seen him out there in this preseason. This Texans defense, assuming health, is going to be right back in the thick of the top defenses in the league this year.
Drew had a feature with him at halftime, and that does a lot for the community as well.
Irvin off the bounce, looking for some running room. And Irvin upended at the 26-yard line by Antone Exum. Drew Doherty's got an update on Texans wide receiver Sammy Coates. Drew, what do you have?
Yeah, he's done for the night as well. He's got a concussion, so Sammy Coates will not be back this evening.
And this is the play that took Sammy Coates out. The Exum hit. Not a penalty on that play, but it does result in a concussion for Sammy Coates. 2 Texans out with concussion tonight. Kevin Johnson very early in the first quarter left with a concussion. Webb on first down, off play action, finds Michael Pruitt, and Pruitt up the sideline, and Michael Pruitt with a big gain out to the 42, a pickup of 16 and a first down.
Another tight end on that long list of them, a little drag route coming back this way. Nice, well-designed play going against an aggressive San Francisco 49ers stop unit. Let's take that and use it against them. Let's go opposite. Drag that tight end back and found good yardage. Move the chains.
Pruitt was out last week in Kansas City with an injury, but back this week and makes a big play here in a tie game in the third quarter. And Webb just prying it away with that pressure in the backfield, and Webb going airborne. The ball pops out, but he was down on the turf at the 47-yard line to pick up a 4.
Down by contact. Second down.
That shows you again some of the elusiveness. The mesh point, a bit of a question whether or not Coleman didn't want to give it up. He says, man, I'm not going to get it too often. Give me that ball. And Webb shows you his ability to make something out of nothing. That's funny.
Little fight. Webb versus Coleman. Webb won.
That's right.
Now Coleman gets the carry, and Coleman runs into a brick wall.
You know, nothing good happens when you put your head down. And then that's the difficult truth. You never can brace for someone that's about ready to hit you when you don't see them. And it's almost instinctive for guys when a 293-pound or 300-pound guy is coming at you to lower your shoulder and put your head down. But it's almost counterintuitive to do just the opposite, but you got to learn to do it. That's the only way you're going to avoid those hits and possibly coughing up the football.
3rd down and 6 at the 47. Tyler Irvin in now at running back on 3rd down. 4-man pressure from the Niners. Webb with time. Webb to the air, deflected, and is it intercepted on the dive? It is. A great pick by Emmanuel Mosley, and Mosley on the run. Needs a block, didn't get the one he wanted as Webb makes a touchdown-saving tackle, but Emmanuel Mosley with the interception. There is a flag down, however, back in the secondary near the 43-yard line.
I think the interception is going to stand, but when they convert it to turn into an offense is when it happened. But I think the play that really needs to be talked about, obviously the interception is what it is, but Webb saved it with his athleticism. Here you see versus off coverage. The ball is thrown pretty effectively, but Moore did a nice job of coming up and then.
The ruling on the field is an interception.
Yep.
During the return of the interception, the illegal block in the back, number 47 of the intercepting team, the defense. That'll be a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down, San Francisco.
So Elijah Lee flagged from the spot. So this is going to move the Niners all the way back inside their own 30-yard line, negating the 47-yard return on the interception. We'll step aside. It'll be Niner ball in a tie game when we return to NRG Stadium. Opener against the New York Giants on September 23rd. Just keep watching the game. We're going to announce the Mattress Firm Rising Star during the 4th quarter. When you hear it, just go to abc13.com and enter the Rising Stars name. You could win 2 tickets, parking, and pregame sideline passes for the September 23rd Liberty Whiteout game. Good luck. So after the turnover, C.J. Beathard and the Niners offense back to work 1st down. Looking for a little running room is Joe Williams, and Williams from the 32 to the 35 picks up 3. That penalty, Spencer, created a 52-yard difference from the line of scrimmage. They were going to start at the Houston 16, instead back to the 32-yard line.
So a total of 12 penalties, 120 yards. That ball, again, made possible because Webb didn't throw the receiver open. He put it on his back shoulder. Moore was able to step deflected and step away and create an opportunity for his teammate there for the interception. That's one thing that Joe Webb can ill afford to do, is to throw interceptions.
2nd down and 7 at the 35. Beathard slings it, a low throw. Good catch by James, but nowhere to go for James up the sideline. Good coverage by the Texans as Richie James Jr. is stopped after just a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, and Josh Thornton is there to make the stop as well. I love the response and the aggressiveness by the Texans. After the mistake by Webb, the defense comes back and plays aggressive. That's what I call complementary football, being in tandem with what's going on. It's an emergency situation. You got to bail your offense out.
And Romeo Crennel's going to be very pleased, I think, with the sudden change defense he's seen in this 3rd quarter. 2 opportunities. They limited him to a field goal the first time. We'll see what they do here on 3rd and 6. Beathard with time over the middle. Williams with the grab. He stopped immediately. Good tackle by Andre Chauchure, short of the 1st down by 2 yards.
Chauchure with tight coverage, man, against a man concept. And again, when you got guys that are banting around back there and have the responsibility of man-on-man coverage, a lot can happen. If there are 4 individual battles going out there, if you can defend on all 4, that is a huge win for the defense.
Braxton Miller back deep again on punt return. The Texans defense coming up big twice on sudden change in this third quarter.
Let's see if these guys can help Braxton Miller out. Block those guys long enough to get a return.
Good punt by Pinion, making Miller run to the other end of the field, and it goes out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
One way to keep him from returning them is to kick him out.
Kick him out of bounds. Bradley Pinion pinned 31 punts inside the 20 last year. Good directional punter, shifting Braxton Miller to the other side of the field, and now the offense back to work with Joe Webb.
Always good to see how guys are responding. I think Bill O'Brien's going to still call the types of plays that complement Joe Webb's skill set. Probably continue to move him out of the pocket, make some safe calls for him on the throws.
Tyler Irvin on first down, and Irvin plows his way to the 19-yard line. Pick up a 4 for Tyler Irvin.
Tyler talked to us yesterday and talked about how it was tough for him nursing his way back from an injury, and one of the first times he's ever been out an extended amount of time. It's almost 10 months he was out.
And he said when you're away from the game like that, you really cherish what the game brings to you.
Absolutely.
Really has a healthy appreciation for how important this sport is to him. Irvin with the carry again on second down, gets a yard, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 5.
And I think one of the things he's going to have to do is, he's a smaller guy, but he's going to have to run heavier than that to make his presence felt. You stutter around there against a 4-man or 5-man front, there's not going to be a lot of room. Coaches want to see if you just stick your nose in there.
Does run heavier mean that you just plow forward? You don't do the dancing in the backfield?
Yeah, when the context, the situation determines it. You're backed up. You want to be sure-handed, but you want to run with pad level. You want to run bigger than what you are. A little over 205 pounds, 208 pounds. It's not big enough to deal with those big guys who are going 305 up front.
And that 3rd and 5 play will be our play to start the 4th quarter here in Houston. Through 3 quarters, Texans and Niners knotted up at 10 apiece. Start of the 4th quarter, 10-10 as we welcome you inside NRG Stadium. Kevin Kugler alongside Spencer Tillman, Drew Doherty manning the sidelines. And the Texans with a 3rd and 5 at their own 20-yard line as we start this 4th quarter. Movement up front, and flags are down. Now it was Cedric Thornton who came across the line, but was he coaxed off by some movement?
Well, the defender can make it over there and get back as long as it's not touched.
63, defense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
He's a veteran, Cedric Thornton, in his 7th year.
Now you can move, but you can't touch, right?
Or coax
them off, or draw them off.
Texans will take it. That's a 1st down. Thornton was with Buffalo last year, played 15 games with the Bills, had 27 tackles. He's also been with Dallas and Philadelphia. We'll hear from J.J. Watt in just a little bit. Drew getting ready to chat with the All-Pro as Irvin is wrapped up by DJ Jones in the backfield. Another flag down.
This has been the reoccurring theme throughout the second half and to end the first. A lot of laundry.
Personal foul, clipping, number 62. Offense, half the distance to the goal, still 1st down.
Chad Slade called for a clip. Drew Doherty standing by on the sidelines with J.J. Watt.
All right, JJ, good to see you. First things first, how you feeling?
Feel great. How you feel?
I feel pretty good, but just asking about the health. You didn't play tonight. How have things progressed for you?
Very well. Things are great. It's been a great camp. I've enjoyed being out there with the guys very much.
It's been fun seeing you out there. San Francisco, the week of practice, Wednesday, Thursday, looked like you got some pretty good work in. What did you think football-wise you were able to accomplish?
Yeah, it was good. It's always good to work against somebody else. Stop hitting your own guys, and you see some more schemes. You see different players, different tendencies. So it's always nice when you get to work against somebody else. And we had a good couple days of work. And that's all you can ask for, so it was really nice.
I know it's still early, but what's got you most encouraged about this defense?
Just the amount of playmakers we have. I mean, we have guys all over the place. Obviously, we want everybody to be healthy and ready to roll for the first game. And but we have fun. We have a really good rapport with each other, great chemistry, and we just enjoy working together.
Been quite a year off the field in the last 365 days for you. How special is it for you to be able to wear that patch, the Walter Payton Man of the Year, because of award, because of what you're able to do?
Oh, it's extremely special, and it's an honor. And every time I see this jersey, I think about it, and I'm thankful and grateful to all the people who helped me earn it, because obviously it wasn't a solo effort by any means. There's so many incredible people, and so it's nice to be able to wear it here in our home stadium in front of these incredible fans who helped me get it.
All right, JJ, best of luck this season.
Thanks, Drew.
And he gets to wear it as the Walter Payton Man of the Year. The work he did after the hurricane was so inspiring, not only for the Houston area, but really for everybody across the country to see what J.J. Watt was able to do from a leadership position off the field.
No question. And we talk about leadership being influence. Nothing significant happens without it. That sign that said 30 million was probably taken before, because it ended up being closer to 37. He's a leader in the strictest sense of the definition.
And Joe Webb trying to find Vincent Smith on 3rd down and 17. Cannot connect. 4th down, and the punt team coming on for the Texans.
Just to put a bow on that, as Bill O'Brien looks at it, I don't think anybody has had more of an impact in sport than J.J. Watt has the last couple of years. And again, the irony is he's only played 8 games. He's just unbelievable. Just a talented guy, focused. I remember a few years back when he had dislocated his elbow his rookie year. He wasn't quite sure he was going to make it. It was the darndest thing. Had a great conversation with him out by the bubble as John Harris, Texans analyst, talks to him now. He's just a consummate workhorse.
Trevor Daniel with the punt, and a good one. Driving James back to the 24. Richie James Jr. nowhere to go. Corey Moore down there on punt coverage for the Texans. That'll make new special teams coach Brad Seeley very happy with the coverage from Moore on the punt, and a timeout in Houston in a tie game. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Xfinity. 10-10 our score. Kevin Kugler, Spencer Tillman, Drew Doherty. Our entire Texans TV crew here. Game 2 of the preseason. C.J. Beathard still out there at quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and the give to Joe Williams from the 29 to the 35, a pickup of 6 on the play.
C.J. Beathard trying to make some music. You know, he was a lead guitarist back in high school and college. His brother is making a big splash in the country music scene.
Called him Sunshine in Iowa.
Right.
C.J. Beathard, long blonde locks.
Yeah.
2nd down and 4. Our 1st and 10 line this quarter brought to you by First Community Credit Union. Williams again with the carry. Good tackle by Corey Moore. He made the play on the punt. And now Corey Moore coming in to make the play on the edge, short of the 1st down.
Corey, a big contributor a year ago, comes up out of that safety position and makes a nice play to deny extra yardage on the stretch coming his way. Wins the battle, gets his head across the body, makes a nice form tackle on the sidelines. It's a good football play.
San Francisco was red hot to start on 3rd down, but just 1 for their last 7 on 3rd. This is a 3rd and 1. Beathard on the keep. He's going to have the 1st down and more. C.J. Beathard out of bounds at the Texan 45-yard line. A pickup of 17 for Beathard.
Pretty gutsy call, crafty call. Thinking you would run it, but Beathard comes here. It's actually a naked, besides the receiver that comes around, not much of a heavy blocking assistance on that play, putting your quarterback at risk, but it worked.
Not something he did a ton of at Iowa.
Nope. The Hawkeyes.
1st down and 10 at the 45. Williams with the carry, and Williams stood up after just a 1-yard gain. LaTroy Lewis in there to make the stop. Lewis spent the first 12 weeks a year ago on the practice squad. Got into 2 games late in the year with the injuries mounting up.
He's had a pretty good camp, and when you're playing the edge out there, you got to be stout. You got to play with a certain amount of awareness. Can't get beat back. Got to be intelligent to play in Romeo Cornell's defense.
Three-step drop for Beathard. Quick toss, and it's dropped. Richie James Jr. unable to pull it in.
Divergent was on the outside, too. They had him bracketed You know, a lot of times when receivers go into their routes, they get a snapshot of what the coverage is. And if it's what they call a banjo coverage, you got guys in and outside of you. He's seen that coverage. He knows the receivers on the outside going a vertical route. Bottom line is he took a peek, and it impacted his ability to focus on the ball. Thanks for the assist, partner.
Always. 3rd down and 9. Picatinny, the motion man. 4-man rush. Beathard hit as he throws to the sideline, and that one is caught. And a first down. Aldrick Robinson.
I think that's going to come back. They've been holding.
Holding, number 77, offense. 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Coleman Shelton flagged for the hold, negating the play that gets the first down.
Yeah, LaTroy Lewis is the guy that's coming here. He's coming on the outside. You can see he got that hand in, and Lewis goes down to the ground. And even though you can't see the hand, when a guy falls like that, he's typically being brought down by that right hand that's hitting from the official.
14th penalty, Spencer, for 135 yards. Kyle Shanahan will not be happy about that.
You know, penalties are indicative of a bigger issue. Again, usually, to your point earlier, guys are usually tired.
Correction, 64 on the hold.
They're usually tired, or they're just making mistakes, which usually is connected to being tired.
That's Jonathan Cooper, not Coleman Shelton, called for the hold. Cooper, a former 1st-round pick just a few years ago. Beathard being chased. Beathard finds an open man. It's Williams on the sideline who gets to the Texans' 44-yard line before he's nudged out of bounds.
They're still going to have to punt it away, but, you know, I think the games and deals that the Texans had on that last play really caused them some problems and kept that ball contained. Just a good job of mixing some things up front. Romeo Cornell doing a nice job. Nothing exotic, but just enough of a change to hopefully pop somebody open and affect the quarterback.
Now the Texans will send Quan Bray back for the first time as a punt returner.
Yeah, let's see what Quan has. Short field, he may not get an opportunity.
Strong kickoff return man last year for the Colts.
He may get a chance.
Fair catch signaled. And the catch made with a flag down. Quan Bray's fair catch at the 13-yard line. And
you know, divergent out there. Those two guys on the gunner holding them up. Can't drive him out of bounds. You got to let him back in. And they've got to make an effort to get back in.
During the kick, holding number 34, receiving team, half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. 1st down, Houston. Timeout.
Texans ball in a tie game with 10:08 to play. Our scoreboard this quarter brought to you by Papa John's Houston. 10-10 on that scoreboard with 10:08 remaining in the 4th quarter. We want you to be a part of the Houston Texans season ticket member family. Tickets for the 2018 season, they're already sold out, but you can reserve a spot on the 2019 priority wait list today. It's free to join, and members receive exclusive benefits. Visit HoustonTexans.com for more information. Texans starting deep in their own end at the 7-yard line on 1st down. Webb under some pressure. Going down, almost through the interception. Elijah Lee had a shot at it, but he couldn't pull it in, and it's 2nd down and 10.
You know, Joe Webb's got to make better choices, particularly backed up here in the end zone. Again, they've got heavy pressure coming from the outside. You got a back and an edge guy to block him, but Webb steps up, but he's just an ill-advised pass. And again, these are maybe 3 or 4 decisions that he's made that's been extremely questionable. And if you're a coach, you're evaluating when they're happening most, and it's when you're backed up in your own end zone. And the guy starts to show that kind of tendency, it's not a good sign.
Trying to get it to Braxton Miller there, could not connect. Half of the Texans' 10 possessions, Spencer, have started at their 15 or worse. So they've really been backed up a good portion of the night. The carry to the 10-yard line from Terry Swanson, the rookie out of Toledo, with his first carry.
And see, when you start to see things like this on an obvious, in any other situation, be a passing down and you go with a run, that's lack of confidence in your quarterback, and at least in this series anyway. I'm not trying to make any long-term projections as Swanson makes his way off the field, but if you're Joe Webb, you got to do a better job in these situations throwing the ball.
3rd down and 7 for Webb and the Texans offense.
He's got an opportunity down here with a nice, this route is the one that becomes an option for him right now.
There's movement.
Wow.
Roderick Johnson started well before everyone else.
Well, everybody's taking their turn making mistakes now. That's not good.
Well, start 63, offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Johnson spent all of last year, Spencer, on Cleveland's injured reserve list. The Browns took him 5th round in the 2017 draft, but he never played for the Browns. Now trying to make this Texans squad. A little frustration for the head coach. Third down and 12 from the 5. Webb from the end zone looking deep for Braxton Miller, and Braxton Miller was well covered up the sideline by Tyvis Powell. A couple of Buckeyes going head to head there.
Just taking a shot downfield, nothing fancy about that, but protection was good at least. Anytime you take a shot downfield, you got to be concerned about can you protect long enough for the receiver to run the route, and Texans with a save there.
Richie James Jr. back awaiting the punt. He's got a chance to give the Niners some good field position. Good punt from Daniel. A flag is down. James at the 45, and he's down near midfield. Tackle made on the play by Duke Ejiofor. We'll wait and see what the flag is here with 8:56 to go in the 4th. Got a hat off too.
Yeah.
Normally the hat off indicates somebody was out of bounds. Can't blame it on the wind. The roof's closed.
Block in the back.
So offsetting penalties. Indicated one each way. Walt Anderson. Heavy explanation for Kyle Shanahan.
There are fouls by both teams. Player going out of bounds, number 47 of the kicking team. During the kick, illegal block in the back. Number 48 of the receiving team. San Francisco has elected to offset the penalty, offset the fouls. We will replay 4th down.
You got to make an effort to get back in bounds. If you get knocked out, you can't visit and run 15, 20 yards downfield without making an effort to get back in play. Brad Seeley, the special teams coach, is going to have a little chat about that, I'm sure.
There's Trevor Daniel. Back to punt once more. Back to return once more. Richie James Jr. All that happened just a moment ago, forget it. It didn't actually happen. We'll do it again. 4th down. Daniel uncorks a line drive punt, driving James back all the way to the 33-yard line. James breaks a tackle. James across midfield and down there. James with an 18-yard return after the 63-yard punt uncorked by Trevor Daniel, and the Niners back to work on offense. Houston Texans went through some coaching staff changes in the offseason. New running backs coach John Pagano coming over as senior defensive assistant. But you look at those guys up top. Brad Seeley at the top of that list, and Tracy Smith, the assistant special teams coach. And Spencer Tillman, that's a big, big addition to this coaching staff with Brad Seeley on board.
Well, he's a 30-year veteran, been around a long time in this league, last with the Raiders, and actually had a cup of coffee a couple years with the San Francisco 49ers before that time. But so significant with his addition, they brought in Tracy Smith with him to help him out. It's a tandem. So yeah, he's one of the best in the business. And I put him right up there with the guys historically like Frank Novak and others who have done tremendous jobs in the latter years of their careers, but he's still just one of the most creative out there. But I wonder how the rules this year, without being able to motion people, are going to impact a lot of special teams. I'm looking to see exactly what his response will be to that, both as an offense, cover team, and a return team.
Well, it's certainly been an area of concern for the Texans over the years.
Yep.
How can they quit losing yardage in that special teams game, cover better, get some return game going? Bill O'Brien went with one of the experts, Brad Seeley, as Nick Mullins, the new QB, is in the game, and that's going to be intercepted. The interception, as he threw it right into the middle of the pile, goes right into the arms of Davin Bellamy.
Ruling on the field as an interception. First down, Houston.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but it all begins with effort. A game's in a deal working there. Bellamy, actually the benefactor of that. The games was working inside. He folded and stayed active enough to come back, and here's Bellamy back here, number 48, stays alert, kind of reminiscent a little bit of Cunningham's interception, just being aware of where the ball is once it's batted.
And then Gilchrist is the batter and the recipient of that bat. Bellamy gets the interception, and now the Texans with a chance in a tie game. And on first down, Webb on the keep. And Webb into Niner territory at the 45, but here comes a flag.
Could be a holding against the Texans on this one again.
Holding, number 17, offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
That's Vincent Smith, the rookie from Limestone.
Yeah, you can see he tries an outside release to influence the defender and just grabs too much jersey. Smith trying to do a good job of blocking the guy in space, but got caught.
Smith, the first player in Limestone history in the NFL. Houston with 7 penalties tonight, 6 last week against Kansas City. 6 of those 7 in the second half. First down and 14 back of the 44. Webb setting up the screen.
There you go.
He's got some running room to Swanson. Nice little cut. And Swanson stumbling forward inside the 35 with a first down at the Niner 34.
Now the difference between Swanson and his run, it's a great play, but he doesn't show the patience. And there's a flag
Holding,
down on the field, so it may come back.
Offense, 10-yard penalty.
So it's a great job of setting this thing up. But again, Swanson needs to be a little bit more patient as he comes down the field. Gets a little bit too impatient, runs into his own lineman or tight end, Lingle, who's had a fantastic camp. Guys getting downfield, got to be cognizant of where the ball is at all time.
Chad Slade called for the hold. Negates a 22-yard gain on the play. And now first and 19 back at the 39.
Well, Texans really squander an opportunity to convert points off of a turnover. Coach O'Brien still coaching him up. He's not happy about it.
First down and 19. Swanson, the running back. Delayed handoff to Swanson, who takes it to the 40, a gain of 1.
You know, a lot of times, and a lot of good football being played on both sides earlier on in the first quarters. But we talked yesterday with Coach Bill O'Brien about pace and tempo using as a tactical advantage. The reason why you don't do it in situations like this, although they have paced it up a little bit, you're not sure about assignments and what guys are responsible for.
Good block. Braxton Miller with a little crease, and Miller pushing the ball just across the midfield stripe.
A wham screen there. Again, you saw this twice tonight. Those types of plays for Braxton Miller, consistent with what you see on the collegiate level. It's just designed to get the ball in space against a guy that's talented. Really hadn't paid that off in the aggregate in terms of being a former quarterback who's supposed to have a big enough body as a slot player to really take apart secondaries. As a former quarterback, you should have a really good understanding of what coverage is trying to do to you.
Two-time Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year at quarterback for Ohio State. Webb looking for Miller again, almost intercepted. The adjustment made by McFadden, and he nearly had the pick working against Braxton Miller.
And again, the squandered opportunity. Listen, I'm not so sure if it's Joe Webb's fault or not, but Braxton Miller looked to me like he was not engaged on the back end of this. He goes down, the ball is thrown, and it's to the back shoulder. Should he be looking for it? I don't know. It's a poorly probably thrown pass, but Braxton Miller, no, that's on Webb. That's clearly on Webb.
Shane Leckler back out to punt. James back deep. And James will call for the fair catch, makes it inside the 10-yard line. 5:40 remaining in this fourth quarter. We're still tied 10 apiece. 5:40 remaining in the fourth. San Francisco and Houston tied up at 10 apiece. Nick Mullins, third quarterback for the Niners, to work deep in their own end at the 8-yard line. Mullins on first down on the slant finds Aaron Burbridge, and Burbridge upended just shy of the 25-yard line, but a first down for San Francisco. Former Michigan State Spartan picks up 16.
Charchery there on the stop. Nice job of open field tackle, but man, I'm telling you, Texans had a lot of bodies around the ball, but the speed at which the receiver got that one and started hightailing it, he's trying to make a play.
First down and 10 at the 24. Jeff Wilson Jr., the rookie from North Texas, in the backfield. Motion across from Ross Dwelly. Three-step drop, it's Dwelly with the catch, and Dwelly dropped at the 32-yard line. The tackle made by Kenan Gilchrist. 2 yards shy of the first down.
Gilchrist made a great play, but I love the flex when they swap responsibilities. When a tight end comes off the ball, a receiver goes on the ball, a natural rub is going to typically happen, and so the linebackers have got to be aware when that does happen. Gilchrist did a nice job of recovering, but not before enough separation was created for the completion.
Each team won their preseason opener last week. You saw Kenan Gilchrist with a big week last week in helping the Texans beat Kansas City.
Yep.
Mullins led his team back against Dallas, and he floats this one up, caught by Wes Saxton, and a first down out to the 45-yard line.
I'm not sure if he was trying to hit Ross Dwelly or not, but again, it was again one of those old Frank Wycheck type plays where you bring him over from the wide position and you come underneath it. And so 49 is coming underneath. He gets picked off by a Texan, and then, yeah, I guess he was trying to hit him. Dwelly was in the zone where they wanted to go with that play. Great offensive play.
Texans defense looking for a stop here, with Dwelly in motion on first down at the 46. Wilson with the carry, and Wilson into Texans territory at the 48-yard line. A pickup on the play of 6. And with 3:20 remaining in the fourth, the Niners.
Tempo. They're playing with a little tempo. I don't know if they're huddling up fully, but looks like they're playing with a little bit more tension. They're going to huddle up now.
Second down and 4.
There's a matchup there, young and old, or Shanahan.
On second down, Wilson the carry again, squirts through an opening. He's got the first down.
Getting a little chippy out there right now. And the difficulty is on the defense is you allow them to run the clock out a little bit, set up for perhaps a game-winning field goal.
Last week's game, I think, a little easier to find a bevy of positives if you're Bill O'Brien about your team. There's been so many penalties tonight and some ups and downs, some fits and starts.
And I don't think quarterback play has been what it needed to be, particularly from Joe Webb. I think he's going to be disappointed a little bit.
Deshaun Watson was excellent in his only play of the night. His only series is Jeff Wilson with the catch and a first down to the 32-yard line. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning.
This is the 2-minute warning.
Texans got to stop late last week to secure the win. Can they come up with another late stop?
Well, it's that time, partner, to announce the winner of your votes for the Mattress Firm's Rising Star. It's going to be Bruce Ellington. It was hard to get at this one. Great day, 4 catches, 50 yards, 1 touchdown. The former 49er showed up with a little attitude. Want to get back at his old team. Number 4 put it on the numbers there. Go to abc13.com and enter for your chance to win 2 tickets, parking and pregame sideline passes for the September 23rd Liberty White Out game. Good luck, everybody.
And Bruce Ellington, the name to enter. Mattress Firm Rising Star. And that offense, the number one offense, was out there for essentially one series tonight. Marched down the field, scored a touchdown. Now the defense is going to have to chum up with a stop as the Niners are driving on that Texan defense. Wilson takes it inside the 30-yard line and a timeout.
The first charge timeout. Houston
taking their
timeout.
timeouts on defense now to try to preserve a little time in case they need to come back or to try to win it if they can get the stop here. Visit the Houston Texans team shop in Bud Light Plaza at NRG Stadium for the largest variety of Texans merchandise in Houston. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and shop our official online store anytime at shop.houstontexans.com.
It's preseason, but given the way your offense is played in the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter, do you try to get more aggressive? It doesn't look like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5-minute rush. They're coming.
Wilson the carry again. He's down to the 27-yard line. Another timeout taken by Bill O'Brien. One to go.
George timeout, Houston. 30-second timeout.
1:49 to play in the fourth.
This situational football, he's playing it like he would in the midseason situation. This is a good opportunity to coach from this. Romeo Crennel is going to coach it hard too.
We saw it last week in Kansas City. The excitement Romeo Crennel showed when the Texans got that stop on the goal line on 4th and goal to preserve the 17-10 win. He was fired up. That same defense, for the most part, trying to come up with a stop here and at least hold the 49ers to a field goal try. Third down and 5 at the 27.
This is a pressure look here. Split 7-4. Yep.
Wilson the carry, and Wilson stopped just short of the first down. Timeout Texans. Their final timeout. Fourth and 1
timeout,
for San Francisco.
30-second timeout.
Well, here's the look. Texans showing pressure with an edge rusher off the side and just a little underneath handoff, trying to get to that line, and Texans deny him the opportunity, so it's 4th down.
Good play by Brian Peters. We've said that before. Not only in this preseason, but over the course of the last few years, he's made some big plays.
Yeah, usually on special teams is where he's made his mark, but from scrimmage late in the game like this in the preseason, looking for impact as well.
And now Robbie Gould will come on, try to give the 49ers the lead. 145 points for Robbie Gould last year. A career high, his career long 58 yards. This one from 41. For the lead late. And Gould's field goal right down the middle. Few have done it better for longer than Robbie Gould, entering his 14th year out of Penn State.
Well, there are a few kickers that are automatic, but he's about as close as it gets. He's the gold standard, no pun intended.
All-time leading scorer for the Chicago Bears with over 1,200 points in his 11 seasons in Chicago. So Robbie Gould gives the Niners the 13-10 lead. And Houston now with a chance to make a late comeback to try to get their second win of the preseason. And it'll be on the shoulders of Joe Webb to get it done. And it's been kind of an uneven night for Joe Webb. 5 of 13, 52 yards. You see the numbers for Deshaun Watson. That was all in one series. He was excellent tonight. And Brandon Whedon, 7 of 15 for 50 yards.
But for his skill set in his game, this is what Joe Webb can ill afford to do. Because he's a runner, they move him out of the pocket. When he does throw it, he's got to be at least 60, 65%.
Quan Bray back deep. And Bray will back out of the end zone and take the touchback. So here comes Webb and this Texans offense. No timeouts remaining. The ball will be at the 25-yard line. Down by 3 late at home.
Well, I call this the element of recency. What you do last, you tend to remember most. And in a game like this where it was so sloppy to end, you want to make a positive play, and it's likely going to be Joe Webb. They'll move him out of the pocket, try to extend the play. Don't know if they'll trust him on a downfield throw at this point, but his skill set is running.
He's got Tyler Irvin in the backfield with him. Braxton Miller to the bottom of the screen. Quan Bray and Vincent Smith to the top. On first down, Webb with time over the middle. Braxton Miller with a catch. And a flag comes in late at the 40-yard line. A 15-yard pickup and a first down. And the penalty is going to be against San Francisco.
Yeah, there's going to be holding too. And I think Braxton Miller, hope he's all right on that play. Looked like he
prior to the pass, holding number 33 defense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Yep.
Clock will start on the snap.
To your point, you saw Braxton Miller trying to rotate that left arm a little bit. That's the arm he came down on.
You can see he put that shoulder down, unable to break his fall.
From the 40-yard line, first down. Webb to the air again, and a flag comes in. He was looking for Vincent Smith, who was on the turf, and a flag is thrown. It'll be a hold against the Niners.
They're going to flag their way down to get the field goal position.
Prior to the pass, holding number 30 defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
15 penalties for 140 yards against the Niners tonight.
And Tavis Pyle, number 30, he's the one that's playing in a LaBelle technique. And Vince Smith, he goes inside, and then maybe just a little bit contact before then, but it wasn't much. But again, they're going to be enforcing significantly a point of emphasis. The 15 penalties tonight for 140 yards, that being the latest, is untenable.
Pressure coming. Webb has time, finds Steven Anderson, and Anderson lunging forward close to the first down. First catch for Anderson tonight.
Well, Mr. Anderson, he had one sure catch, perhaps for a touchdown last week. He just dropped it, trying to quit and atone for himself.
Webb, pass deflected. Quan Bray is still there to make the catch. And a first down at the 41.
Wow. You see if Quan catches this ball, he gets his hand. Yeah, he caught that cleanly, didn't he? I think he catches that ball.
It rolled up his arm.
Yep. Cradled it nicely. No challenge.
40 seconds and counting. Pressure up the middle. Webb on the run. He'll throw this one away. Once that pressure popped free, no chance to do anything with it. It was Pita Taumoepenu who was in the middle there, and once Taumoepenu came through, Webb just got rid of that one. Second down and 10 at the 41.
See if Big Candle Lamb and company can protect him at that right tackle spot long enough to make a play.
Big moments for those tackles. This is a team that could use a swing tackle to step up. Webb with good protection over the middle. Vincent Smith's got it. Wow. First and goal, Texans. The best throw of the night from Joe Webb. Well, no timeouts. They've got to hurry. And now they're going to call it a touchdown? No.
Well, what touched him?
And it is a touchdown. Yep. Nobody touched Vincent Smith, and it's 41 yards for the score.
How about Smith having the presence of mind to get up and go?
Ruling on the field. Ruling on the field is a touchdown.
How about that? The Texans were running down to spike it, and Smith got himself into the end zone.
Great throw on target. No one touches him. He didn't have to have the presence of mind to get up. He rolled into the end zone. He might have been kicked, but no one touched him.
Nope. They'll look at it. Every scoring play is reviewed.
Wow.
Ruling on the field of a touchdown is under further review.
And the only thing they possibly could find is that the trailing defender kicked him, but I don't see any place where they touched him. The ball is a dart. I mean, uncharacteristic for tonight is concerned.
Right there.
Yep, that's absolutely. The ball's going to be placed at the 3-yard line. Smith was kicked and touched prior to rolling in.
Boy, what a throw, though, by Joe Webb.
It was a dart, man.
And Vincent Smith, whose head coach in college was former NFL wide receiver Mike Furry. Furry's best year came with the Lions. He had 98 catches that year for the Detroit Lions. There you see the little bit of contact from the leg of Emmanuel Mosley. As it's the determination's going to be, was he on his way down when that contact happened right there?
Yeah, he's on his way down, but to me, the defender doesn't even have a sense of to go after the receiver. And to me, I think there should be a judgment call on those situations.
Well, it's certainly not a tackle.
No, it's not a tackle. I mean, it's incidental. He wasn't even trying to tackle him. I mean, he's looking past him, and
the contact's right there. It's clear as day. Walt Anderson looking at this one again with the replay officials. And here comes the ruling from our referee.
It's going to be on about the 3.
After reviewing the play, the ruling of a touchdown stands.
Wow.
Please put 27 seconds on the game clock. 27 seconds on the game clock.
How about that?
I'll take it, but I didn't think they had discretion if he was touched, but I agree with the rule. Kyle's saying, well, you touched him, didn't he?
So not confirmed, it stands, but the Texans don't care because that gives the Texans the lead and maybe the win.
Hold on.
Nick Rose on for the extra point. And Rose's extra point is no good. Nick Rose signed this week after Kaimi Fairbairn was dinged up. And Rose misses the extra point that would have iced this game. So there's still a chance for the 49ers.
And in talking to Bill O'Brien yesterday, you didn't get the impression that Fairbairn's job was in jeopardy at all, but here's the touchdown once again, and the ball is thrown on a dart. It was just a great back shoulder throw between coverage. Vincent had an opportunity to roll in and for the score. That's outstanding presence of mind. But Mosley didn't even sense awareness that he had an opportunity to tackle the guy or needed to.
The problem for Vincent Smith, if there was one, was that everybody thought the ball was down around the 3-yard line, so he just flipped the ball to the official. No celebration until later. You get to celebrate your first NFL touchdown even in a preseason game.
Amazing.
So with 27 seconds to go, Victor Bolden Jr. awaiting the kickoff.
Let's see if they sky this kick. He drives it out.
And Bolden, 8 yards deep, a little hesitation, and he's going to bring it out. Bolden with a crease and tripped up. Excellent defensive play by Tristan Deku. And Josh Thornton limping towards the sideline for the Texans, and he's down.
Oregon State representing Tristan Deku with a nice open field tackle, saving the day. Outstanding.
Tackles his former Beaver teammate in Victor Bolden Jr. as Thornton being tended to by the training staff.
Last week's hero in the save against the Chiefs.
Well, you just hate to see anybody getting banged up. In a preseason game late, Thornton, you mentioned, has made some plays in this preseason.
Jeff Goff's out there taking care of him. He's one of the best in the business, been around a long time, and Lowe and company with him.
Favoring that ankle a little bit. Hopefully he'll be all right. So now the 49ers with 2 timeouts remaining. 19 seconds to work with because of the missed extra point are still within a long Robbie Gould field goal of tying this up.
They got a bunch formation up top. Let's see, 4 defenders to cover those 3. They're going to throw it downfield.
Mullins under pressure. Mullins in trouble. Throws across his body. That one is caught, but a tackle immediately by Josh Kyes. And with 9 seconds to go, timeout. San Francisco, they have 1 left.
This is the second charge timeout, San Francisco. 30-second timeout.
Josh Kyes showing some tremendous tracking ability. Had a big hit last week, and it just shows you in coverage. He's back there by himself. Anything coming underneath the shallow area, he's responsible for it. He puts athleticism on. Hey, there I am. Like it had Kyes. Like it had eyes.
Texans have 323 yards tonight, Spencer. 154 of those 323 came on drive number 1 and the final drive. 48% of the yardage on first and last drives tonight.
Amazing.
Mullins with time winding down over the middle. Catch is made. Broken tackle. Bolden breaks another tackle. Bolden with zeros on the clock is down at the 37, and the Texans are 2-0 in the preseason. It wasn't easy, but Houston comes from behind to get the 16-13 win.
High drama on the home field made for an entertaining end. Last week exciting on the road. Winning those home ones, like Bill O'Brien said, you got to do it for the fans.
And a smile on Bill O'Brien's face.
He's still smiling. Look at him.
After the 16-13 win. He told us yesterday, look, we want to win this game. We want to play hard and we want to win. He said they played hard through the first half. And they walk off the field winners, 16-13 over San Francisco.
Well, again, it comes back to the element of recency. As we watch J.J. Watt, it comes back to Joe Webb hitting that pass that led to the touchdown. That to me was the vindicated piece. The last thing he does gives Bill O'Brien some hope that they can build on the positive, because otherwise it wasn't a great throwing day for number 5.
Well, don't forget to join us on these same stations next Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. Central when the Houston Texans continue their 2018 NFL preseason on the road against the Los Angeles Rams. For Spencer Tillman, Drew Doherty, and our entire Texans TV network crew, this is Kevin Kugler saying so long from NRG Stadium with a final score, the Texans 16, the 49ers 13. This has been a presentation of the Texans Television Network.